Hey, Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about iDOL anime. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
And today we are doing Oshi no Ko.
It's finally happening.
Finally happening.
It's the show that took everybody by storm several seasons ago.
All that being said, for Oshi no Ko, there's going to be some trigger warnings. I feel like we'll put them in the show notes. So
yes. Make sure to read that. Yeah, I can rattle off a couple in the audio, though. Characters will die. There's a lot of stuff about just, like, trauma and, like, just getting ferociously bullied on the internet to the point of self-harm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark shit in this show, so maybe go into this with that knowledge, or come back and listen to this if you're not feeling up to it just now.
Yes, definitely check the show notes and feel free to Google the show itself for trigger warnings. Also, probably in the show notes, I have a feeling we are going to also be talking about a real-life suicide that did happen, because I think it is important to mention. Yeah. So if any of this is hard for you, you might want to skip this one.
Yep. But it is time to get into it.
Time to talk about Oshi no Ko.
It is time to talk about Oshi no Ko, a show that has a lot going on in it.
So much. So I had read the manga ahead of time, and I knew that this anime was coming out. And I remember telling Star, don't read the manga, watch the anime, don't read anything about it, go in blind.
Yep. I had no idea what the show was about, but I did get spoiled for like one or two things. That I thought was going to be the plot of the entire show. Turns out the stuff I got spoiled on is the first 10 minutes of the show, and then just stuff keeps happening.
Yep.
So yeah, it was like, okay, holy shit. That went to a location that I was not expecting, and that it does just keep going. So this is a show about, at the basis of it, it is a show about just some anime bullshit.
Some anime bullshit.
An idol gets pregnant at 16, gives birth to twins, and the twins are the reincarnated versions of the doctor who helped her at the hospital when she was pregnant, and a girl who was the doctor's patient who was a big fan of the idol. And then just stuff like that's what I knew going into it. I knew there was like some reincarnation nonsense. There was some teen pregnancy nonsense. And it goes some places.
Which, all that being said, aren't as wild as some of the places other idol shows go. It's just that this one, that's the plot.
Yeah. I mean, okay, can I say something controversial right off the bat?
Ooh, yes, go for it.
In the context of our podcast, where we talk about idol shows, I almost feel like this barely qualifies as an idol show. And hear me out, because, so you're feeling it too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is a show about idols. It is not an idol show. Because there is a big difference there. This is a show where, like, the main character for the first episode, well, she's the main character.
Yes.
She's the main, everyone knows that she's the main character. The purple-haired, star-eyed character that y'all have definitely seen around the internet if you've been paying an ounce of attention to anime anything. She's the main character. Spoiler for the first episode. She dies in the first episode.
Yep.
And she spends the rest of the story haunting the narrative. Not literally, like another idol show that we have watched.
There have been other idol shows with the literal haunting.
This is not Idly Pride. She's not. She haunts the narrative in the way that a very important character who dies early on and was
Light Yagami.
Explain that.
Are we talking about Aqua? Light Yagami? The same?
I thought you were saying that Light Yagami dies and haunts the narrative. And I mean, No, he
I
don't.
mean, no, that's L. Really?
That's L.
That's
L. Yeah, no. It's like if L dies in the first episode, and then everybody else, he's the most important character in Death Note. Let's be real. Once he dies, it's not any good. But spicy take about Death Note. It's not. It's a lukewarm
spicy.
take at best. Yeah, but but yeah, like she is an idol.
Yes.
She is like framed as like this genius, perfect idol.
Yes, the Miki of the Oshinoko universe.
I mean, honestly, I would even say she's bigger than that. Like,
That's true.
She's the fucking Hatsune Miku levels from what everyone talks about her.
It's like if you took all of the AKB girls, not from AKB 008, the ones that they originally reincarnated from, but were combined, that's her.
Mm-hmm. She is like the most perfect idol, and that is what everyone, like everyone always knows about her, even though in the course of the narrative, she's been dead for like 10 years. Everyone always talks about her still.
Yeah, because she's
like,
perfect.
She is still a hot topic of conversation. She's like, I don't know enough about bands to know if this is an accurate representation, but it's like, it feels like a Kurt Cobain situation almost.
She was crafted in a laboratory where they're like, how do we make the perfect idol? And then they made that. Which honestly, I also, when my wife, who has also haunted our narrative here on Idol Days, she went in and, or I showed her the pictures of like the characters and she saw and she's like, she's going to be my favorite. And I'm like, she is the best character. She's perfect. Scientifically
Literally.
created.
In a lab.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like the show is very much about her and about the legacy she leaves behind, including these two kids. But like the actual idol activities is limited to like the last 3 episodes of the show.
Mm-hmm. With little bits in between.
Which I have feelings about because I wanted there to be more of that.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed that there was not more of that. But we got a murder mystery instead, which is another of Star's favorite genres. Sarah, can I tell you my reaction to the first episode? I know we haven't talked about the first episode.
I want to hear it. Yes, please share.
Okay, well, here, let's break down what happens in the first episode first, and then I'll tell you my reaction, just so that people who haven't watched the show are not lost.
Yes.
So I'll really briefly skim through. So the first episode, we should say also, is movie length. It's like, is it 60 or 90 minutes?
It's an hour and a half.
Yeah, so and honestly, it works.
Yeah, it needed to be because the hook is at the very end, really.
The plot hook that sets up the entire episode is just laying the groundwork for the rest of the series, but the last like 5 minutes of the movie length first episode really is like the fuse that lights that sets up the rest of the story, right? It's like you lay your groundwork, you lay all the TNT out, and then you light that fuse, and the explosion is the rest of the series, essentially. I've been playing too much Baldur's Gate.
Causing some explosions.
Yeah, like you do. But yes, so the first episode is like an hour and a half long.
And we have our main character, and let's describe her, because we talked about her being the perfect idol, and she is. Yes. So, purple hair with like pink streaks in it. She has like a little half Honoka ponytail, but it's long because she's superior to all other idols, as we know.
The length of the side ponytail is your power level, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. She has these eyes that are like, in the anime, they do a really good job about making them look very like multicolored prism-y, but they're mostly like pink-purple vibes. Yeah.
Like, they put so much detail into the sparkles on these anime eyes. And like, in Love Live, it's annoying. In Oshinoko, it's like, it just drives home the dazzlingness of this character. Like, the 6-pointed star that is her pupils is like such a visual point of symbolism throughout the entire show, and it's so cool. I love this shit so much. So her pupils
are stars, just like AKB 0048, because as you know, once you get idol powers, you get stars in your eyes.
It's true. Yeah.
Yep.
But in Oshinoko, it's more like, when you have the stars in your eyes, it's like supposed to be like a sign that you have kind of taken on that perfect idol. And you also like see the shape of like the 6-figure star in the sky, and characters will like look up at the stars, and you see that shape up there, and it's like, oh, they're thinking about Ai and how amazing she was.
Just like in AKB 0048. I'm just saying this follows the whole idol Illuminati reincarnation thing, Confirmed.
No, it's like, it sounds so corny when you describe it, but honestly, like, It is a very good piece of visual
Yes.
storytelling and symbolism, and I'm into it. I'm into it.
And she even has like her teeth have like just a little, her canines are a little pronounced, so she even has like a little bit of a fangy, but not like in the obnoxious way. Like she's perfect.
She's perfect.
She's perfect, except for one thing, which is her outfit.
No, Sarah, all of the idol outfits in this show are so ugly. They're so ugly. It's like okay. Props to the creator. They created a very interesting story that I do have some beef about. We will go into it later. But for the most part, it's a very enjoyable show for people who like idols and maybe people who don't even like idol anime. But one of the best and most important bits about idol anime is the outfit designs. And all of the outfits in the show are so ugly.
They're so ugly.
They're so bad. And like there have been good outfits for like I and Ruby and Mem and like the other idol character, Kana, like the other characters who eventually get idol outfits. There have been good outfits for them. They're not in the anime or the manga. They're
not
in like
the show.
They're all in the Idol Master collab and like the one Parko exhibit that they did. I love that eye outfit.
It's
so
cute.
Much.
But in the anime, they're all really ugly.
They're so bad. And I'm like, why does she have two shirts on? Why is one of them a turtleneck? Why is most of this outfit pink? But then she has a bright yellow turtleneck underneath it. It's just like,
and the proportions are all just slightly off.
Yeah, and it's like eventually when we get into like the later episodes with the new generation of the idol group, all of the outfits are like dark red and kind of stupid looking. And I'm like, see, I would love to cosplay this show, but all the outfits are ugly.
They're just ugly. So that is Ai's only flaw. No other ones. Just her outfits.
Honestly, that's not even her flaw. That's the flaw of the people who dressed her.
That's true. That's true. It's her stylist flaws.
Yeah. Fire them. Get
but otherwise, that is our perfect idol.
Our perfect idol.
Idol.
Yes.
Yes, the layers of puns in Oshi no Ko, by the way.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our Ai is not technically our like leading POV character. Our leading POV character for the first episode, or the first part of the first episode, is the doctor, and I don't remember his name. I think
it's Goro.
It's Goro something, but I don't care. I'm just going to call him Doctor. Yeah, Mr. Doctor guy. They call him like Sensei in the show, which is what you call a doctor in Japanese. So it's like, he's just Doctor. So in the opener of the episode, we find out that this doctor works out in the boonies, and he is like this mega fan of Ai, our main like idol character.
How could you not be?
How could you not be? A, but B, you find out that the reason he is such a big fan of her is because he had a patient named Sarina who was like this very young girl. She was like 12 years old, and she was in his hospital for a really long time because she was sick with something. They actually say what it was. It's not just like terminal anime sickness. It's like actually a thing, but it's a sciencey name.
She went out in the rain.
Yeah, she went out in the rain. She got sick and then she died. No, she was like legitimately extremely sick, and they actually like tell you what she was diagnosed with. I just don't remember what it was, and I didn't write it down because it was a bunch of science words. But like when you see her in the show, like she has no hair, she looks very sick. It's like very much terminal illness child, but like yes. And you find out that Sarina was obsessed with Ai because like the two of them were the same age, and Sarina's like, I feel like when I cheer for her, she's achieving all the things that I want to do, and so I want to cheer for her because like I'll never get to do that.
Yep. And also at the beginning of the episode, over and over, you overhear her, Serena, and also like other characters in the background being like, wouldn't it be cool to be reincarnated as an idol's kid? And you're like, that's a little heavy-handed. Yeah,
it's a little heavy-handed at points, definitely, but it's like, you're definitely setting it up. It's like, I get it. This is a little ham-fisted, but whatever. So Sarina passes away at some point in the past. I think it would have been like 4 years before the main anime takes place, or at least the main first episode.
Something around then, yep.
Yeah. And so then at some point, the doctor never really got over Sarina. Like, she's his wallpaper on his phone.
Yeah.
It's very sad. But eventually, he's like going in to see a new patient, and she's like this teenage girl, very pregnante.
Super preganto.
So, pregnante? Pregante? Pregnant? Pregnant. You're pregnant with Gregs.
Pregnant.
Two of them.
Two Gregs.
Two Gregs. But yeah, she's like, okay, so what's your name? And she like takes off her hat, and holy shit, it's Best Idol I, and she's Pregangate
With twins.
With twins. And the doctor freaks out. He's like, can I even support an idol if I know that she had sex and got pregnante? And then he eventually decides, I can.
Yeah, 100%. I get to take care of I. Of course I can.
Yeah, it's also like, again, he's projecting Sarina onto her. And it's just like, I will take care of her, and I will make sure that she can still do everything that she wants to do. And he like vows, he's like, I'm going to take care of her. And so she stays as like a patient at this hospital. You find out she's in the boonies so that no one can find her because, like, you know, she's from Tokyo, but she went to a hospital out in the boonies, so no one would recognize her and take photos and get the paparazzi because she's planning on hiding this pregnancy. She doesn't want anybody to find out.
Because she's an idol. No one, idols can't have sexual relations.
Idols don't even have private parts. How do they get pregnant?
How do become pregnant?
Yep. But we get to a point where eventually it's the night that I is going to give birth, and for some reason the doctor leaves the hospital.
Just going on a walk.
He's going on a walk in the dark at night in this in the woods.
Yep.
Shrug. And he gets approached by a dude in a hoodie, and the dude in a hoodie's like, "Hey, you're I's doctor, aren't you?" He's like, "How are her twins going?" And he's like, "How the fuck did you know that she was here? Are you a stalker?" And he chases him into the woods, and then ends up, the stalker pushes him off a cliff and he dies.
F in the chat for the doctor.
F's in the chat for doctor. He only survived like 10 minutes. Beep,
Rip.
beep, 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 beep. Yes, rip. However, he is not ripped long. Because we then cut to I giving birth.
Yep.
And we see her with her two new babies, and one of them is the doctor. He has been reincarnated as one of her babies.
And his new name now is Aqua. So both of the babies, they're blonde. They don't have eyes, purple, pink hair.
Sarah.
Yes.
One of the biggest mysteries in this show is who the father is.
Yes.
We know at least one thing about the father. He was Russian.
Why?
Because the kids are blonde, Sarah! The half-Russian kids are always blonde in the Idol anime.
Well, sometimes they're half American, sometimes they're half French.
Oh
it's just that it can be anything, really.
He's a foreigner. The father has to be a foreigner because he's blonde.
Yeah, it could be any of those.
Yeah, the children are blonde, so the father has to be... So he's North Marian.
He's North Marian,
Yeah.
He's Zero.
No!
The father is legendary composer Zero.
Two perfect idols combined to form these fucking kids, I guess.
Yep, that would make sense.
Yeah, so Aqua and Ruby are the two kids, a boy and a girl, and Aqua is the doctor.
And Aqua has blue eyes, and Ruby has pink-red eyes.
Yes.
So...
Yeah, and each of them, so I has the idol star sparkle twinkle in both of her eyes, and then each of the kids have it in one of their eyes.
Yes, half formed.
So it's like almost heterochromia, but split between the two of them. I think Aqua has it in his right eye, and Ruby has it in her left.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, and so it's very cute, but it's also a little bit distracting that one of their eyes each has this big sparkly pupil and the other one doesn't. And it's like, I know it's probably not diegetic. It's very unique to look at, I guess, but it's also a little bit distracting sometimes.
It's like half elves have the quasi ears, half idols have the one sparkly eye. It's just what happens.
Half idols. It's like, oh, you're half idol.
Yeah.
You have the sparkle eyes.
Half idol, half Normarian.
Half idol, sparkles in your eyes. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, and half North Marian, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
North Marians come from a wintry landscape where there is no light, and so they have no light in their eyes.
Also, I guess at this point, we can talk about the name Oshi no Ko, too, the title itself.
Yes.
So the no symbol in the name of the show is the sparkly eye, right?
Yeah.
And then there's multiple puns, so like the Oshi, like you're the Oshi of the Ko, so you're the stan of the idol, but you can also be the child of the idol. So the ko being, So
it's like
there's some
I've seen multiple ways of translating the show's title just based on where you're watching it. It's like it's either my star or my idol's child. It kind of means both things.
Yep, it's a good pun.
We love puns.
And then again, also it has that I there in the title, the star I.
Yep. But yes, so now that the doctor is Aqua. We're going to refer to him as Aqua from now on. And then Ruby is also reincarnated from someone. I wonder who.
A mystery.
A mystery. I wonder who the other child of this famous idol it's
Takamina. Oh, oops.
Sarah. She's not in this show.
Yeah.
She's not in this show. But yeah, so Sarina gets reincarnated into Ruby, and the doctor gets reincarnated into Aqua, and they both retained all their memories. Like, even as babies, they can talk and walk around. They have to pretend that they're babies, but it's very funny.
Yep. Just some goofy baby hijinks.
Yep. The two of them, however, do not know each other's previous identities. So that is very important.
But at some point, it is revealed that both of them realize the other is a talking baby.
Yes. And then they're just like, oh, so you were reincarnated too? Oh, shit.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I guess this is just how it is, huh?
But yeah, so after I has her babies, there's like 6 months pass or something like that. And then she goes back to work and we just follow, baby hijinks at first. There's some dumb anime bullshit about like, oh yeah, haha, I'm getting to breastfeed with my best girl. And I'm like, did we need to do this?
Yep. There's full disclosure, first episode of Oshinoko has a lot of uncomfortable anime bullshit.
Yep. It's like you just kind of gotta grit your teeth and wade through it.
Yep.
And it's like, it makes it hard to it's one of those things that makes it hard to recommend to people who are not super into anime, because it's just like, okay, this is definitely someone's fetish.
Yeah.
But it's like, thankfully, at the very least, they do it and it's done and it's over quickly.
Yep.
And
just this first episode, really.
Yeah, it's really just the first episode, because it's like, they have to. It's like written into the anime bylaws that you have to, if you put a character in the situation, you gotta do the anime bullshit. But anyway.
Yes.
So another couple of characters that are pseudo important, we should at least mention them here, are the idol company's president and his wife.
Yes.
Because they're basically like Ai's sort of like pseudo parents. Like, Ai is kind of an orphan. She doesn't have parents.
It's shown at a later episode, I think, that she basically got out of the orphanage, got scouted, and then became an idol, immediately.
Yeah. And so the president is Saito, and then his wife is Miyako, and so those two are kicking around. So Miyako is a lot younger than the president, and you find out is like the reason she married the president in the first place is because he has a lot of showbiz connections, and she wanted to like be able to meet hot guys. She does not think her husband is a hot guy, but she wants to meet hot guys. And she ends up kind of becoming the babysitter for the twins, and she gets really angry about it. And she's like, oh, I could definitely cause a scandal and get a bunch of money selling the story to the press. And then the babies are like, oh shit, what do we do? And so then they kind of reveal themselves in a way that's like, we are the gods of children, and if you release this scandal, you will be punished. But also, if you play along, you will be granted a second marriage to a hot guy. And she's like, yay!
They say that they're the reincarnations of Amaterasu. Which, so the other work that Aka, who wrote the manga, did was Kaguya-sama Love is War. And that one has parallels to the Tale of Princess Kaguya, obviously. So there is some speculation if this has actual Amaterasu parallels, and that was just a fun in-joke he had with himself, the author. But who knows? We haven't gone that far yet.
Who knows? Like, there's some stuff that happens later on in the manga that I'm still just like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
It seems like they're setting something up, but I'm just like, who is this?
Yes,
Why?
we can talk about manga stuff after.
Yeah. Maybe like we'll have,
maybe
we can do like an after the credits bit where we just talk about manga spoilers for a little bit.
We could do that.
We won't do it here. But yeah, so eventually Miyako just kind of becomes their surrogate mother while Ai is out doing idol career things.
Yep. And they bully her into bringing them wherever they want to go, basically. They get to go watch some of Ai's concerts.
Yeah, it's very funny.
We get the Woda babies.
You get the Woda babies. Yeah, you may have seen that clip on like circulating on Twitter when the episode came out. But yeah, it's very funny. So we basically follow them for the next, like, the first couple years of their life. So Ai continues doing idol things. She eventually goes on to, like, be a star in a drama. And, well, she doesn't star in the drama. She has a bit part in a drama, which then leads to her getting cast in a movie. And then Aqua gets kind of roped into it because he's, like, a kind of a creepy child who can talk way better than you would think.
Yep.
We very briefly meet a character who's going to become important later, who is Kana. We will come back to her. She is another child actress
at the time.
Yes. But yeah, eventually, like, Ai and her... We haven't said the name of the group yet. Ai is the center of this idol group called B-Komachi.
Yes. And the idol group, I don't remember how many characters it had.
There's 7, I believe.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big group, but pretty much it's kind of shown in universe that the only one people really care about is Ai.
Yeah, like, we don't even learn the names, or we barely see the other idols.
Yes. We do get a few songs from them, or rather, one big song, the B-Komachi song.
There's, I guess, technically 2 B-Komachi songs, but one you don't really see until later.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, so, like, Sainwa B, it's so cute. I love that song so much.
The music in Oshinoko, those spars, are all bangers.
Slaps! Oh, so good. So good. Like, if you've been on TikTok at all, you have heard the theme song to this show. We need to talk about the fucking theme song. We haven't seen it yet in the series because we don't see it until the end of the first episode. Oh, it slaps so hard. Oh, it slaps so hard. Good. Like, I am so curious what they're going to pull out for the second season, because that is a hard act to follow.
Right?
Oh my God.
So
I wonder if they're going to
good.
get somebody else to do it, if they're going to keep Yoasobi in.
Keep Yoasobi, maybe. Yeah, and it's also one where the lyrics are so pertinent to the show. It's very well done about being I'm the perfect idol. There's nothing wrong with me. Do I like anyone? No, of course I
don't know what love is. I've never really felt love before. How do I lie to my audience? It's talking about how being a big thing with the show is how to be a perfect idol, you have to be a perfect liar. Because, like, the idea was that I was just constantly lying to people and everyone loved it. It was, she lies and says, I love you to her audience, like, constantly. But she goes into being an idol knowing that that's a lie. And so by being the perfect liar, she becomes the perfect idol. And that's, like, very much a big thing in her image. And it's reflected in everything she does and also in the freaking theme song.
And similarly, when they say, I don't know what love is, what, like, being an idol is love, being a liar is love, they use the word I for
it's
love.
Her name! The layers!
Layers!
Oh, it's so good. But yes. Yeah. So we see just, like, B-Komachi, but mainly Ai, like, rise to stardom up until the point that they're doing this, like, it's her I think, 20th birthday. And she is going to do this big dome concert with the group. Like, it's this triumph in her career. And on the day of the concert, the same stalker who killed the doctor all those years ago figures out where she lives, comes to her house, she knocks on her door, she opens the door, and he stabs her to death. F in the chat for the best idol. And can we talk about this death? Because
it's rough.
I legitimately cried both times I watched this.
Yeah.
So it's like part of Ai's thing that we were just talking about is how she's set herself up to be this perfect liar. You find out like the scene before she dies, that she has never told her children that she loves them because she is scared that she's going to say it and she's going to know that it's a lie. It's like, I don't actually know if I love my children because I don't know what love is. And so when she is laying there bleeding out with her children in her arms, she finally says, I love you to them. And she's like, oh, thank God it wasn't a lie. I was able to actually say it. And then she fucking dies.
Yep, and you say children in your arms. Aqua is there in the room with her slowly dying. Ruby is on the other side of this, like, foggy glass door, so she only sees the silhouette of her mom and the blood on the window. Yeah, no, it's very
traumatic.
Aqua is covered in blood.
It's just like...
Yeah.
Oh my... It's rough. It's real rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like... So as... We find out through, like, earlier in this episode. Again, it's an hour and a half. This is a movie-length episode. There's a lot that we're not talking about. But, so Ruby, what kind of, like, she becomes this really good dancer, even as a little kid, and Aqua is, like, he was this child actor, and he didn't really, like, super want to get into acting. He was just kind of forced into it, like, inadvertently, but he does take to it reasonably well. And so as Ai is dying, she's like, Aqua, do you think you'll grow up to be an actor? He's like, Ruby, I wonder if you'll be an idol just like me. I wish I could be there to see it, but I don't think I'm going to get to. And it's horribly sad. Like, with all the other beefs that I have with this show, this hits.
Yeah, and also... notable, the animation's also really good. Like,
yes, can we talk about the art?
Like, it's really fluid. It gets really experimental sometimes. Like, I know Star was talking about the eyes being all shiny and glowy, but sometimes like the detail of, like, just a blink, it has all these shinies and swirlies in it. They also do the thing where they have, every once in a while, they have these, like, oil painting looking screens.
Yeah, no, it's really
experimental, cool. Weird animation.
For, like, really pushing the effects.
Yep.
Yeah, it's visually, it's a very nice show to look at. And, like, another thing is just that, like, the colors that they use for the shading sometimes are, like, so bright. It's like the main character's hair is blonde, and it almost looks like they have pink highlights because the shadows of their hair are so brightly saturated. And I love it so much. It looks so fucking cool.
It's beautiful.
It's a gorgeous show, honestly. Like, it's not the prettiest anime that's ever existed, but it's better than the average stuff that this is getting thrown out every season by far.
Yes, you can tell that they were not afraid to take some risks with the art style. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And it do slap. But right now, we are terribly sad because Ai has just died.
Ai has died. Rip.
Yes.
And Aqua is like, well, this sucks. Our mom died. I hate this. And then he has a brain blast.
He does. Would you like to tell us about the brain blast he has,
so
Sarah?
He's thinking, he's like, well, our mom died. They caught the guy who did it. He's just a normal student. And then he's like, but wait, there's no way just a normal ass student would figure out where our mom lives and also figure out where the hospital is and stab me. This person must have been getting directions from someone higher up. And he's like, who could that be? Who could be that higher up person? And he's like, it's our father.
Dun, dun, dun.
And he's like, I has never talked about the man that, like, you know, our baby daddy, basically.
Yeah.
But he's like, but I have a clue, and it's my DNA. And I'm going to use that clue to figure out who did it. And it must have been someone I was close to. So it has to be someone in the entertainment industry. So... maybe I will become an actor after all, and that'll be my revenge.
Like, I'll find out who my father is, and I will kill him with my own 2 hands.
Yeah. So, Baby Aqua has a revenge plan now, and part of that plan means he's going to go in the entertainment industry.
Yep. So this was my reaction. So now that we've kind of finished covering this episode, what my reaction was... is like, you know, you're watching it. It's like, okay, you're watching the intro. Okay, this is an interesting setup. You're watching the anime bullshit when they're like infants. It's just like, okay, grit your teeth, whatever. Watching the middle, it's like, okay, this is definitely going somewhere. This is definitely setting a lot of stuff up. Why was this a movie? Why? I'm just like, why? This just feels like you could have broken this up in episodes. I don't get it. And then when Ai dies, it's like, oh, that's why.
That's why.
But then it's just like, I was crying, I was upset. I'm like, no, then what's the rest of the show gonna be? And as soon as Aqua's like, I will figure out who my father is and I will get revenge, I audibly gasped and went, oh? Because you know me, I love a murder mystery.
She does.
The combination of idol show and murder mystery I have never seen done before, and I was like, "Oh, this slaps. I'm into this. Actually, this is okay. Yeah. No, this works for me. This works for me. I'm into it."
Star was ready for the murder.
I was so ready. I love it when people die. No, but just like I enjoy a good drama and theatrics, and you don't usually get quite this much with an idol show. But I was like, oh, it's a murder mystery. Oh shit, fuck yeah, let's go. However, I would be doing a disservice to everyone in our audience if I did not discuss the beef.
The beef. Yes.
Sarah, would you like to guess what the beef is?
Well, I kind of know your beef because I remember you mentioning it in the Discord chat.
Did go into it in the Discord chat. I forgot about that, yes. But the process of my beef is that this first episode, and specifically the end of the first episode, like that last couple of minutes where Aqua's like having his internal monologue talking about like how I was murdered and how he wants to figure out who was feeding this stalker guy information. Because a bit we didn't mention is that the stalker, after killing I, goes off to then kill himself.
Yes.
And so the stalker is no longer alive. And so they can't get any more information out of him. And then Aqua kind of just jumps to the conclusion that the stalker could not have had information that he could not have had, i.e. that I was pregnant, that she was having twins, that all of this other stuff was like, there's no way he could have known that. He couldn't have known where she lived because we had just moved into that apartment. There is no way that an average 20-something-year-old student would have had access to that information. And that is the precipice upon which this entire rest of the story, like this plot point has to work in order for the entire rest of the narrative to work. It is the single Jenga block upon which the entire tower sits, and it does not hit.
Yeah. Because you're like, it could be anybody. Come on, Aqua.
It could, well, okay, yeah, not only that, but like, they describe him in the show as like an average 20-something with no special skills. There's no way he'd be a skilled enough stalker to know exactly where this girl lives. And yet I hear that and I think this writer doesn't know a goddamn thing about the internet, because you know who that also sounds exactly like? Every user of 4chan.
True.
Every single person on 4chan.
Yeah.
Like, I lurk in VTuber threads on the Sus website sometimes when I am especially bored and mentally unhealthy. I never post in there, but I just like to see what people are saying. And you would be amazed at the kind of information that the internet detectives can dig up on a person with just the bare fucking minimum. And I was like this uber famous idol. She was a fucking celebrity. People know where celebrities live.
Yeah,
like,
and then
it's a problem that fans will just like show up to celebrities' houses. Even like YouTubers have this problem where like say what you will about the fucking, what the fuck are their names? Like the Paul brothers or whatever. I've heard that they routinely have just like teams show up to their houses.
Yo, also,
like,
honestly, like one thing that is interesting, there was that Japanese, I think it was even like an idol or a singer, that I remember somebody figured out where she lived because of the reflection in her eye on a stream.
And
which
that
I'm
was
like,
in a 4chan thread!
Yeah, and when you hear that, you're like, you would think that that would be a thought in someone's mind making the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was not. It was not a thought at all. And I'm like, it's just like the entire, this bit fails and it ruins the rest of the assumptions.
Yep.
And it kills me. It kills me because it also especially kills me because, like we ranted about in our previous episode about Million Live with like the daddy issues.
Yes.
This could have been so easy to fix.
Yeah.
You could have added less than 2 minutes of screen time, so you could have fixed this issue.
Yeah. Could have said
all
something
you need
where
to do.
I have something being like, I wrote him a letter or something, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking like, because, you know, the company
That's true.
president is Ai's adopted parent, basically.
Right.
And so Aqua was kind of privy to the investigation and stuff, and he was learning shit because, like, you know, he's a baby, but he's still in the room when they're talking about these things. He could have found out, like, through the company president, or like overhearing him on the phone to the police or whatever, that the police figured out that the stalker was being fed information. However, the person who was feeding him information was being extremely careful. He was using a VPN. He was using like a burner email address. He was doing all these things to keep him safe. And the police just kind of is like, well, we can't, the trail goes dead. We can't investigate this any further.
True. Or I could even see it being like, because Aqua was there when I got killed, the stalker saying, you know, I heard, or I got information, you know, having that line would add to it.
He could have like, even that would like, that would have been even easier. It's like, just have some kind of illusion like, this is different than what he said. Yeah. And then Aqua could be like, who was he? Could it be the president? No, the president would have no reason to give this guy information. Then it must be our dad. Our dad. Like, there's so many ways you could have fixed this, and all of them would have been so easy. And it kills me inside. Yeah. Because when you're writing a murder mystery, you can't have a character go off of assumptions. Because then it gets unless you do it for like the purpose of you twist it around later.
See, that'd be funny if at the end their dad didn't do anything wrong. It was just some creep on the internet.
And it would have been so funny if just like their dad like wasn't even in the entertainment industry. He was just some guy. That would have also been funny. But this feels like the character makes this jump in logic because that is what is required for the narrative. Yep. And it's so frustrating. Yep. Because like I said, the entire plot hinges on this, and it's so weak.
Yep. And there's even real life examples of where that it's not how it is.
It's just like the author of this story, the writer, the guy who wrote it, clearly has a lot of opinions, did a lot of research about the entertainment industry, the media industry, like how like just actors and idols. Clearly a lot of research and thought has gone into this. And yet you skimp out on researching how powerful randos on the internet can be. Yeah. You underestimate the internet randos who could have absolutely... It's extremely plausible that they would have been able to figure out where I lived and use that to stab her. Yep. And yet they don't. And it's frustrating, but that's the beef. I will stop talking about the beef.
We have the beef.
There's the beef. It's on the plate. It's there for you. I am legitimately... So, just brief aside is that we've talked about how I started a YouTube channel recently. My YouTube channel does not go into like, I have no interest in making video essays, but all my YouTuber friends are video essay people. True. And there's part of me that wants to just like kind of take some of that energy and start making videos about media analysis, specifically when I have beefs like this in a show. It's like
Star's beef channel.
Yeah, it's welcome to the beef show.
Welcome to the beef show.
It's like, hi, I went over this in our podcast. Listen to our podcast, by the way. But here's the problem with Oshi no Ko. Here's the beef. Yeah, I'll call it like beef corner or something. Beef corner. But no, it's like there's like a not small part of me that wants to try like making actual like.
I'm so sorry. I came up with an icon for you. You need to make it like the Hardee's logo because it's a star.
Sarah. Oh my god.
I'm a genius.
But yeah, so I don't know. If people are into that, maybe someday that will be a thing. But I just, between this and then also our ramblings about Million Live in the last episode, I just like, I love storytelling so much.
Here's the beef.
People keep doing it wrong.
All that being said, if you want to discuss your beef with us, come to our Discord channel. Advertisement in the middle of our show.
Good plug.
We can all beef together.
We can beef together. Yes, I definitely wrote several paragraphs about this beef specifically in our Discord server for Oshi no Ko. Yep. So yeah, join our Discord. Links are in the description wherever you're listening to this. Yeehaw.
Enjoy your beef.
Enjoy the beef. But yes, I will stop talking about the beef now because it is time to move on to the rest of the show.
Which is a de-escalation of emotion.
Yes, because for episode 2, we switch over to Ruby as our POV character.
Yes, and she is now 16, same age as I when she got pregnant, and Ruby wants to be an idol just like her mom so bad.
Yeah. So also it's important to know that the twins are Ai's children, but no one else knows this.
Yes, it's top secret.
Miyako ends up adopting the two of them after Ai's death, and so she obviously knows. And then the company president, he ends up fucking off at some point. We don't see him again for the rest of the show, basically. He ditched after Ai passed away. So now it's just Miyako running the show. And then she adopted the twins. And so she knows and the twins know. And the president, he fucking somewhere he knows. But nobody else knows that these two are Ai's children.
Yes. And also, that being said, too, B-Komachi kind of ran its course. I was gone. They didn't have enough success. The group disbanded.
Yeah.
And also, Strawberry Productions became more of a group that produces internet streamers and YouTubers, basically, instead of idols.
Yeah. I so want to make a niche joke, like a niche VTuber joke here.
Do it. Go.
Miyako is kind of the Yago of the situation at this point.
You all got that. I have no idea what's going on.
Yago is the company president for Hololive.
I see.
There's kind of a joke about, like, because some of the girls in Hololive have expressed that, like, we were real sad before joining Hololive, and then we joined Hololive, and, like, things got better. And so there's kind of been jokes around the fandom that, like, Hololive is Yago's home for broken girls. And it's so it's like, okay, I don't know how accurate that is, but you could definitely make these jokes here as well.
Oh, there you go.
Miyako's orphanage for abandoned children of idols. Let's go.
There you go. So Ruby really, really wants to be an idol. She keeps going to idol auditions, doesn't get past the beginning for whatever reason, which you get some hints at later.
Definitely couldn't be that Aqua has been sabotaging her behind the scenes because he does not want his sister to go down the same path as I.
But now that they're 16, Ruby is ready to be an idol all the way. She's in the middle of this, like, really extreme audition at the same time as she and Aqua are about to go to this performing arts school. So she wants to make sure she's, like, got this idol thing down before she has all these celebrities as her classmates. And then what Star hinted at happens. Yeah,
she gets a call, but you find out later that the rejection call was actually Aqua putting on a voice. Where he called the audition people and said, hey, she's dropping out. He blocked their number on her phone, and then he called her and said, hey, you got rejected. Because he really wanted to make sure she didn't become an idol. And Ruby is sad. She's very sad about this. But of course that doesn't stop her because eventually she gets scouted by, like, an underground idol group.
Because she has Ai's genes, so she's beautiful.
Yeah. Everyone always talks about how pretty the twins are, like, constantly. And so she gets scouted to be in this underground idol group, and Aqua's like, sounds sus, I'm gonna go dig up some info on them. And he ends up, like, talking to one of the current members, and she talks about it. It's like, yeah, well, we don't make a lot of money, and the production definitely favors this one other girl, and it's really unfair. And it's like, he's like, no, this is sus, I can't let my sister join. And so the end result is that he ends up being like, well, okay, if she became an idol with our agency and we start an idol group, at the very least, then we can make sure that she is properly taken care of.
And so Ruby is over the moon because that means she can actually be an idol, even if that means that nothing is going to start yet, because the plan is she will not be a solo idol. She will have an idol group, and they need to recruit more members.
Later.
Not right now, because right now it's time to go to school.
And so the two of them are doing their, like, interviews to get into the school. And after their interviews, they're hanging out in the hallway, and who happens to overhear their conversation but Kana!
So she is the child actor that we mentioned back in the first episode when Aqua was scouted for this movie that I was in to be a creepy child. She was a creepy child next to him. At the time, she was a child star in a lot of films, and her reaction to being with Aqua is she got upset because he was better than her. And so she kind of has that whole trying to be the best she can personality, but not in a haughty way, just in the she gets flustered way.
Yeah, well, I mean, when she was a child, she was definitely like a little gremlin of just like, I have to be the best.
Yep.
I know I'm the best. Everybody take me seriously. I'm literally 4 years old.
Yep.
She was kind of like, what's the word for a bitch but a child? She's a brat. She's a brat.
Here we go. A bitch but a child.
A
Quote
bitch.
Star 2024.
No, listen. Anyway. So now Kana's all grown up, and we should describe Kana.
Yes.
She's got like this, like kind of red chin length bob hair. I think she has like red-ish, like dark red eyes.
Yep,
that are also very glistening. But not in this. She does not have the six-sided sparkle.
No, she does not. She's just normal amount of talent.
Normal amount of eye sparkles.
Exactly.
Eye sparkles.
Eye sparkles. Wow.
It goes to it's a pun.
It
Yuck, 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 yuck,
does.
yuck. Anyway, so Kana happens to overhear the two of them talking in the hallway, realizes who Aqua is, and she's like, oh my god, wait, I remember you because we acted in that film together. I thought you weren't in the industry anymore because I never saw you in anything else. And now you're at this performing arts academy. That's amazing. But Aqua's going into the general education course. He's literally only going to the school so he can, quote, keep an eye on his sister. And yep, he's like ferociously overprotective, and people do give him shit about about it in the show, which they should.
Yes, they should. They absolutely should.
Yep. So episode 3.
Yes.
Kana ends up kind of latched onto Aqua. She starts like following him around and she's peppering him with questions, and he's just like largely ignoring her. Something we should talk about. Aqua's real fucking gloomy.
Yeah, he's like Yagami. That's how he is.
He basically is like Yagami, but less pleasant.
Yes, he's grumbly all the time. All he thinks about is his revenge plan and protecting his sister and kind of everyone else he hates.
Yep.
Which is honestly different than his pre-baby personality.
Yeah. Because his pre-baby personality, he was just like kind of a chill dude.
Yeah. I guess that's what happens when you get murdered and then your mom gets murdered.
Yeah, it's the trauma of the reincarnated is like double trauma.
Yeah, double trauma.
He's got all the trauma of going through med school and then getting murdered, and then his best girl / mother dies.
Yep.
And he's just he doesn't have those. He doesn't have it anymore.
Yep, he's done. He also has those teenage hormones, so that doesn't help either.
Yup, he's an angsty little bitch. He's basically if you took Light Yagami and you just kind of grabbed him by the like top of the head and you shook off all the parts where he's like, I have to be pleasant so that people will trust me, but inwardly I'm an asshole. You shake all the pleasant off of Light Yagami and you have Aqua basically.
Yep.
He's like, I'm an unhappy, gloomy boy with murder on the mind, but nobody knows it. Because nobody else knows about his secret murder plans, obviously.
No, they're all internal because he does not want his father to just be punished. He wants him to suffer.
Suffer at his hands. So episode 3. Kana's just like Kana just basically follows Aqua around for this entire episode, and we get a little bit of the Kana backstory. We learn about her.
Yep, child actor. After not being a child anymore, started getting less and less roles.
Yep. And so now she's a little bit washed up, but she's still trying to make it in the industry. She hasn't been doing great.
And she got cast in a TV drama called Sweet Today, which is based off of apparently a really popular shoujo manga, so popular that even Aqua had read it.
Which is maybe a little out of character for him, but whatever. It's for the sake of the show.
Sure. Everyone has read Sweet Today. Everyone knows about Sweet Today.
Everybody knows Sweet Today.
And Kana's like, hey, have you ever thought about getting back into acting? I can hook you up with the director. And Aqua's like, no, I don't want to act ever again. And then she's like, wow, that's such a shame because insert director's name here is really looking for people.
And then Aqua's like, oh, so-and-so is directing it. Well, now I'm interested. And then we get a flashback. Where we find out that as part of Aqua's investigation, so I had like 3 cell phones. She had one she used for work, one for personal stuff, and a third one that I don't remember why she had it. But the personal phone was locked with a passcode.
Mm-hmm.
And Aqua figured, like, this is the one that she always used when she was, like, going out with people. And so if our father's contact information is in this phone, it's going to be on this phone. He had to, like, replace the battery. And then once he replaces the battery, he finds out that it's locked with a password. And he doesn't know the password. So he spends literal years of his life typing in every possible combination to this phone until he eventually unlocks it.
Yep, because he can only try so many times a day without getting locked out permanently.
Yeah. But you see him like under his desk in elementary school. You do see him like as a toddler laying in bed trying combinations over and over and over again. Literal years of his life are spent trying to unlock this phone. But he eventually does it. And so once he figures out the password, he has a list of, I think, like 30 people that are in her contacts.
Yep.
And he's like, one of these people is probably our father, like has to be our father, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the people in that contact list is the director of this show that Kana's on.
And so he's like, actually, Kana, changed my mind. Count me in. I'm going on the show.
I'm interested. And Kana's very excited. He basically gets cast immediately. Mm-hmm. Also, we see a little bit of the... Do we see the show in this episode or
I
think we see it in this episode.
Yeah.
But it's at some point when they find out what the show is. The two like Aqua and Ruby go and look up the show later, and they see that Kana's like a really good actress, but she's been cast alongside a bunch of people who were casted because they look good.
Yep.
And not for their acting talent, and they are real shitty.
They suck. They are bad at acting.
Like, how could you say that I don't love you? I do love you, main character. It's like literally that level of acting.
Yep.
And so the show has like 1-star ratings. It's real bad. And Kana's like real upset that she can't go all out because she still wants the production to be good. Mm-hmm. But she's like, I have to kind of meet them on their level because otherwise it's just going to be even bigger of a disaster. And she's real upset about it. But what can she do? What can she do? She can't do anything.
But she's hoping bringing Aqua on will help up the quality of the show at least a little bit because Aqua was so good when he was a kid, even though he was just being himself since he's a baby who had adult knowledge.
So eventually they go to film, and Aqua has been cast as a character who will only show up in the last episode. He's like a stalker of the main character that is played by Kana.
And he's like, well, this is an ironic role for me, but sure.
He's like, well, I guess we're doing this. And so while he's on set, he manages to kind of sneak away and overhears the director talking. And he's kind of talking shit about Kana. Kana's been like, oh, yeah, no, this director has like a soft spot for me. He's really nice to me. And he's like, you know, he really sees my value as an actress. And then Aqua overhears the director saying, it's like, yeah, she's really talented. We get fame off her name as a child actress. And also, if you tell her to jump, she'll say how high. She's like kind of washed up. And so she's really eager to please people. And so we got a good deal with her. And Aqua's like, poor Kana. She doesn't know that this guy's basically taking advantage of her.
So he steals the cigarette buds of the director guy who was smoking, because now he's like, yep, got some saliva for the DNA test off of that. We're good to go. I'm here anyways. Might as well make the show good too.
Yep. And so then episode 4, we have the scene where they're filming this like dramatic scene between it's Kana's character, the main character, the main love interest, who is a terrible actor, and the stalker played by Aqua.
Yep.
And it's actually really funny because Aqua manages to like kind of say something under his breath to the bad actor guy. He's like, Photoshop is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, isn't it? And the guy actually like legitimately gets pissed off and punches Aqua for real.
Yeah.
But it just looks like he's suddenly acting really well. And they just keep the cameras rolling, and it's like, okay, he's ad-libbing, but this is actually really good. Keep the cameras going.
Yep. And turns out after the fact, basically everyone talks about like, wow, that was the last episode of Sweet Today was actually good TV. Why weren't the rest of the episodes like this?
Yeah, why wasn't the rest of it like that? Because like now that the finals, like Kana was talking about, she was hyping up like this big dramatic scene that always makes her cry. And she was worried she wasn't going to be able to act it as well as she was. But since this guy was getting pissed off, she was finally able to act at her fullest. And she got like this tearful scene. And she was so happy. And the audience was really happy with it. And they make a point in the show to say the show kind of flew under the radar. Really only the diehard fans who were still watching really got to see like this really good final episode. But, you know, it did a little something. It's better than nothing.
And there was also a cute scene where you do see the mangaka watching the last episode because she's still dedicated. She's like, I knew it was going to be bad. I wanted to watch it anyways. And then you see her watching this episode and her like actually tearing up at like Kana crying at the very end. And she's like, oh, I guess it was nice after all.
Yeah, it's sweet. And no like big spoilers, but in the manga, at least, this mangaka does come back a little later and is kind of a minor character. So it's just like, oh, yeah, setting up this character as well.
But then Aqua goes to the rap party.
Yes.
He talks to the director guy. I forgot if at this point he had known or had gotten the DNA test results back or not.
Yeah, by this point, like a few weeks have passed, and Aqua went and got the cigarettes DNA tested, found out the director is not his dad. And so he's like chill with the director now.
But then at the rap party, the director's like, wow, you look a lot like this one idol I used to be pretty close to named I.
You look like some idol that I used to know.
And Aqua's like, tell me more about this. And director says, I'll tell you more if you join me on this reality dating TV show.
Well, okay, not join him.
He's
producing the reality dating show. He's not in the reality dating show. But he's like, hey, Aqua, I'll give you I'll give you like the secret intel on I, if you act in this show, this reality dating show that I'm doing. And Aqua's like, okay, fine.
Anything to figure out the rest of my revenge plan, sure.
Anything for intel.
Yep.
But yes, in the second half of the episode, we switch back to Ruby's POV. She has started at their new school and everything's going great, except she's an idol in air quotes because she hasn't actually debuted or done anything yet. And they're still looking for members of their group. And she's real upset. And she's asking Miyako, the current company president, their adopted mom, he's like, we need to find some other girls. Can we just like, scout somebody from another idol group? And Miyako's like, no, because we can't risk getting in trouble with another agency. And so Aqua's like, you need a cute girl who's not working for an agency currently.
And is also willing to do anything.
Yeah, and is also willing to do just about anything to stay in the entertainment industry. Points at Kana. He's like, I got one.
Yep. So they do recruit Kana for the idol group. Kana afterwards has immediate regret, but she already signed the contract, so what can you do?
Kana's very much the type of character who, like, she kind of says one thing and then she does another.
And it's also very much hinted at this point that she has a little crush on Aqua. So when
it's not a hint, it's a flashing billboard.
Yes. So when Aqua's like, pretty please be an idol, she's like, okay.
Except that when Aqua says it, it's more like, pretty please be an idol.
Yeah, he's like so he super doesn't care.
Yeah, he super does not care, but she is so smitten with him. And this is just kind of setting it up because like there's kind of a love triangle between Aqua and Kana and another character we meet later.
Yep.
And I do not care about this love triangle.
No, both of them deserve better.
They really do. They really do.
They really do.
Like, Kana deserves someone who will actually appreciate her, and Aqua deserves a really good therapist.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, like we need a therapist who specifically covers isekai protagonists.
Yes, somebody who, and also orphan children too. That helps. Yeah. Yep, anime orphans.
Orphaned isekai protagonists. Yeah. That's a real niche. Whoever that therapist is, they're going to be like, their business is going to look like a front for the mob because they never have any customers. But then like once a month, they do have someone walk in. It's like, holy shit, it's a legitimate business. Yep. There are people who fit in this criteria. I'm in shock.
And most of them are really rich for really obscure, weird reasons.
Yeah, shrug.
I got a princess, an idol. Who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thunk it? But yeah, so episode 5 kind of gets recruited into the idol group, and then we immediately push the idol group aside. We don't care about the idol group right now. It's time to look at a reality dating show.
Though maybe before we get into that, there is a little bit of the idol stuff. So let's talk about the idol stuff first, because the reality dating show stuff does span a few episodes. So there is a little bit of an idols thing, which...
Oh, yes, that is in this episode, isn't it?
Kana and Ruby, they get directives from Miyako, which is, she's like, well, idol industry is different now. We're gonna, even though you're not debuting yet, we're gonna try to get you fans through online streaming, basically, right?
We're gonna be YouTubers.
And she starts saying, like, well, we have this other YouTuber who's really popular. His name is Pieon. And he can help boost your popularity because he has millions of followers.
And so if you guys collab with him, then...
She's like, you could do something simple. Like, we could have, like, a Pieon prank where he, like, wakes you up in the middle of the night and scares you. And then Ruby's like, but I don't want to fake that. I don't want to lie. So we need to do something for real, showing
because
Ruby's naivete.
Ruby is so not her mother.
Yep.
She, like... Her mother's whole thing, like Ai's whole thing, was you have to, in order to be a perfect idol, you have to be a perfect liar. And Ruby's just like... But I don't want to plan the pranks in advance because then it's not going to be real, and we want to be honest with people. And it's just like, oh, honey.
Yep. So Ruby is all about revealing the truth and not the lie.
Yep. And it's honestly, it's real sweet. Mm-hmm. It's just like, she's such this earnest little character, and I wish she got more development.
Yep. But so instead of these pranks by Pieon, they end up doing an hour-long stream. So, Star, do you want to describe Pieon, the streamer?
I was going to ask if you wanted to describe Pieon.
I will describe Pieon. So he is the buffest, muscliest man you can imagine. And, like, you know, there's anime buff, and then there's Pieon. Like he is actually buff.
This man is wide. He is thick with the muscles.
He's wearing a Speedo just to show off how muscly his legs are.
He's wearing a Speedo and
he has a little chicken head.
A little cheap bird mask that he wears that covers his whole head.
And he sounds like Hootie from Owl House.
He kind of talks like this. I'm a millionaire and I'm a YouTuber and we're gonna work out. Pump those kicks.
Both in English and Japanese, by the way. I peeked the English dub too. He does it there too.
I tried to watch the English dub of the first episode.
I wanted to hear Pieon.
I didn't like the voice they used for I, so I
understand.
Watching it.
Pieon is perfect in English as well. Great in both.
Okay, I'm so glad.
Would recommend. I've listened to it in both. Pieon is, well, I might have been the perfect idol. Pieon is the perfect fitness streamer. Because that's what he streams. He streams fitness routines. And so now, because they wanted to do something for real, I say they, it was only Ruby. Kana didn't care, but Ruby refused to do anything else. They are joining Pieon for a 1-hour live stream workout that will be cut down and uploaded to YouTube. And the deal is they will keep on their Pieon masks, which are like these chicken heads, basically, for the full 1-hour routine. And if they complete the routine, they will reveal their idol faces.
Yes.
And then you hear one of the best songs ever.
Pieon muscle! It's like this heavy metal guitar playing under like this exercise routine, and this man going, lift those knees! If you watch one scene in this show, watch the Pieon scene.
And the girls are like doing it.
They're doing it. They are miserable and like sweaty under these masks, but they managed to go the full hour. And so Pieon's like, okay, well, you managed to survive my full hour. Would you like to reveal who you are and say your idol name? And then they're like, oh shit, we haven't come up with an idol name yet.
And then Ruby's like, can I do it? And Kana's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, I don't care. And Ruby's like, we're B-Komachi.
Which I was like, is that allowed?
Is that allowed?
Is that allowed? Like, I feel like it would have made, because it's like, I was trying to come up with a comparison for this, and it would be like if you had, you know, the Beatles, because that's what I default to when I'm trying to think of like a very famous musician or like group of musician. It would be like you had the Beatles, and then today, not even, because like the Beatles were popular in what, like
yeah, it'd be like a more recent thing. It's like if you tried to do the Jonas Brothers again.
Yeah, no, that's perfect though. It would be like if you tried to do the Jonas Brothers again with a completely different, unrelated cast of people, and the only thing they had in common was the production company. It's like, it's the Jonas Brothers.
Or is it like you have AKB and then 48,000 years in the future you have AKB again?
All right. All right. Is it 48,000?
I don't know how many years in the future AKB 0048 is. I think it's like 1,000 years in the future. It's in the future.
I was going to say, like, if it is 48,000, they really committed to the bit on that.
It's like 40K.
Oh, boy. Everything I've learned about Warhammer 40K, I've learned against my will. Anyway,
it's the same,
Idol show.
It's the same as AKB 0048.
See, I have one specific friend who, if he hears that, he's gonna get mad at me.
Hi, Jay.
But I don't know if he's gonna listen to this. I don't know if he's gonna listen to this episode, but if he does, call the fuck out. He's probably typing a DM to me right now if he's listening to this. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I'm calling you out from the past. Anyway, moving along. They reveal that their idol name is B-Komachi, in parentheses, is this allowed?
Yep.
I would have expected them to do like B-Komachi New Generation or something, but they didn't. They just go with, we are just B-Komachi.
Yep.
No distinguishing in the naming convention.
Though,
like,
honestly, if they want to make a big splash and get people to pay attention to them, that was a good marketing call.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Still though.
Yep, still is this allowed. So that is where the idol stuff leaves off on this episode. And now we get to reality television.
Yeah, now the next several episodes are reality TV, and we do not come back to the idols until way later.
The end, basically, the last few episodes.
Like the end of the show, yeah.
Yep.
So Aqua goes on this reality dating show, and the idea behind the reality dating show is that there's 6 people, and they're all high schoolers in the entertainment industry. There's 3 girls and 3 boys, and Aqua is one of the boys. The other 2 boys don't really matter that much, but the other girls there's one girl, I think her name is Yuki.
I don't remember.
She's like a model. She's not super duper important. There is Akane, who is a major character who will be a big player in this show.
And she, at this time, is a very famous stage actor.
She's a stage actress, yeah. So she's got like shoulder length blue hair. I think she has green eyes. She's very pretty, but she is a bit of a wallflower.
Yes.
Like her whole thing is she's like constantly running around asking like the director and the production people like what she should be doing. And she's like taking notes. She's like, what should I do to like make my performance better?
Yes.
So she's very driven, but her heart's kind of not in the right place for reality TV specifically.
Yes. And then the last character is Star.
Best girl!
It is Star in anime form.
It's me in anime form. Me and Memcho are the same person. We are the same. Like literally some of the shit that she says in this show is like, holy shit, I have used that exact verbiage before, because who Memcho is, she is a YouTuber.
Yep.
Who used to be a TikTok star and migrated over to YouTube.
Yep.
I'm using the word star very generously here. Yes. In my case, I'm not a TikTok star, but I do have I have 200K on TikTok.
Wow.
Before I migrated over to YouTube, where I now have 100K. So like, she's a lot bigger than me, but like, still. I feel the energy. It's the same energy.
Yep.
She's like, you got this like blonde hair and a bob cut, because everyone on the show is blonde. And she's got like, she looks like she hasn't refreshed the blonde dye job in a little while. She's like, her roots are kind of grown out. And she wears like little horns, like little tiny devil horns. And she's got kind of the cat mouth occasionally. And she's real cute.
Like
and
the 3 smile.
Her.
Yep.
And she like, I don't think this line is in the anime, but like in the manga, very recent, like very soon after the end of the first season, like where the first season leaves off, they're talking about like, something, I don't remember, and Mem makes some comment about it. It's like, if you do a room tour and you post it on YouTube, you can write off everything in your room off on your taxes. And I'm like, I've literally done that. I've literally done that. I have had this conversation with my YouTuber friends because, okay, there is a store in town in the town where I live. It's like a local small town version of a Home Depot, and ever since Halloween, they have had this giant, like 8-foot tall dragon statue sitting in front of the store. And it's for sale, but no one has bought it yet because it's like almost $3,000. And every time I go in there, I post a picture of it and I make a joke in like my YouTuber friends group chat. I'm like, should I buy it? Should I buy it? I kind of want to buy it. And everyone's trying to convince me to do it. It's like, you buy it, you put it in a video, and you can write it off as a business expense.
The only downside is then people can find your house real easy.
Literally the only reason I haven't done it. That, and it's green, and I would prefer it to be red, but whatever. I could repaint it. I see. She is so me, though.
Yep.
Like, she talks about social media, and like she talks about YouTube stuff, and I'm like, she's so me, though.
It's just Star. Memcho. Also, another thing comes up later, not in this first episode, but might as well mention it now. Everyone in the show is supposed to be in high school. She's completely lying about her age.
Yes.
She's in her 20s.
She's pretending that she's 18, she's 25.
Yep.
And she has a sad backstory about it.
Right.
But that's also funny because AI generated articles on the internet think that I am 19, which is very flattering and very funny to me.
Lovely. But and also that being said, because she's on this dating show with teenagers, she's like basically like, I'm just here to hang out. I don't want to actually date anyone.
Yeah, she literally says later on that she only joined the dating show to advertise her YouTube channel. And I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get it.
I love her. She's so me. Have you ever seen yourself so perfectly represented in a little anime girl? I love her.
And it even gets better later.
It gets so much better. I adore her. I adore everything about her, but we can't. This is not the Memcho show.
Not yet.
This is reality dating show.
So the premise of the reality dating show, I think we mentioned, the idea is that the stars might get together, might not. This is at least the second season of the show. I guess with previous seasons, a couple got together and is still apparently together.
Yeah. I think there has to be like multiple, because they talk about how some people have broken up after the show, some people stayed together, even got married, but there's like, who's gonna kiss at the end of the season?
Yes. And
who's gonna kiss in the season finale?
It is interesting too, because in the show, you kind of see it initially through the perspective of what shows up on TV. Aqua is putting on a persona for the show.
Oh, yes.
He is just happy, cute boy is his vibe.
He's very chipper, good boy is his vibe. And we literally see like he's having a conversation with Memcho and she's like showing him pictures of her dog or something. And we get like just a little insight into his head. And he's like, I hate everything that's going on right now. I'm just doing this for Intel. Stupid producer making me be on a dating show. I hate this shit.
Yep. Another thing to mention is the idea of this reality television show is like a reality television show you'd be familiar with in not anime world, where it is unscripted, but it is there's a through plot that is heavily influenced by the editors and the director just in the editing room, where all the footage is just, there's cameras everywhere, constantly watching them. But a plot only exists because of editors, not because of anything that is scripted.
Yes. And this is the part where we were going to say that if you maybe took the warning at the front of the episode, the trigger warnings about being bullied on the internet so hard
and
that you...
suicidal ideation, anything like that. And also talking about real life suicides, because we will need to at least acknowledge it. Otherwise, I feel like it would not be responsible of us to do so. You might want to stop listening now. Yeah,
this is the part where it's going to start getting heavy. So basically what happens is that this Yuki girl, the one who's not going to be prevalent in the longer form series, she ends up she kind of takes center stage and ends up kind of in the middle of this love triangle with the other two boys who are not Aqua. And like she's doing really well, but Akane, our kind of wallflower stage actress, you find out she got put on this show to kind of like advertise herself, and she's not doing a very good job because she's having a hard time putting herself out there, to the point where like her manager is getting in trouble with her company because like she's barely in the show.
Yep.
And she wants to try and stand out more. And I think like one of the other like just people in the production says is like, well, if you want to make a splash, you could try and steal one of the boys away from Yuki. And so at some point, like she's having this conversation with one of the boys, and then Yuki comes up and tries to like drag him away to see something. And Akane like kind of goes in to like, I don't know if she intentionally goes for a slap.
Right.
But she kind of like tries to push her aside and on accident ends up scratching her face.
Yes. Slaps her and draws blood.
It's not, it draws blood, but it's not a very serious injury. And everyone's freaking out because like she's a model. She has a shoot tomorrow. How dare she do this to a model's face? And Akane freaks out. And Yuki like goes in for a hug, forgives her immediately. And she's like, it's fine. It's okay. I understand why you did it. It was an accident. It's like, I know you're just trying to like, you know, be in the show more.
The stress of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I know you're just stressed. I know you didn't mean it. And they make up pretty much immediately.
But in the editing room, where the show cuts out is the slap and then credits roll.
Yep. And so that's all that the audience sees. And people online do not take it well.
Yeah.
They bully the shit out of Akane. And it's like so much screen time is dedicated to showing like how much bullying she is getting. She tries to apologize on Twitter and gets ratioed to hell. Yeah. And everyone's like, maybe you shouldn't say anything because people are just going to come down on you harder, which like, yeah, legitimately good advice. If you are under fire, just try to not get involved and it'll blow over. It does not blow over. It only gets worse. And it gets to a point where Akane is just so miserable. She's keeping it all in, but she can't stop herself from just like ego searching constantly. And it gets to a point where she just stops eating. She just stops talking to people. And eventually she finds herself on top of like a little walk, like an overpass sidewalk. Yeah. And she just thinks, I am so tired. And she almost jumps off of it.
But Aqua is there to save her. So he grabs her. She starts crying. And he's kind of like, don't do this, basically. And we'll figure out how to fix this.
Yeah. He figured out where this was not just like him being a hero and just happening to show up. They actually did set up how he figured out where she was, because she sent kind of a suspicious text to the group and where she was like, I'm really tired. I'm going to go get a snack. And everyone's like, don't go out. It's a typhoon right now. And so everyone was like, where does she live? She's outside right now. She should not be. Someone help go find her. And so like the entire, like all of the cast, characters, the entire cast, is like out looking for her. And Aqua just happens to be the one who finds her. And so while they're up there, a police officer finds them. They get taken in. Akane's parents get called. And like the entire cast is there to make sure that she's okay. And all of them are like, you don't have to shoulder this by yourself. You can talk to us and everything. It's like, you're still technically a minor. If you wanted to leave the show, you could, and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But Akane says, I would like to stay on the show, but she does end up taking a break from it.
And during this time for the break, the rest of the cast starts brainstorming ways to help redeem her character, essentially, so the cyberbullying doesn't get worse.
Yeah. And one of the things that Aqua does is kind of a bitch move. He goes and so apparently in every police station, there's like a press room where people are just on call to write articles if something major happens. And he like creeps his way in there. Is like, hey, by the way, this TV star just tried to commit suicide because she's been bullied on TV so much, or she's been bullied on the internet so much. And so now there's articles all over the place. And a lot of the rest of this episode, this is episode 7, by the way, we've moved on at this point. The rest of this episode is spent kind of like seeing how the rest of the cast of this dating show try to control the narrative and then the results of that. So at first, a lot of people are, some people are like, oh, she's faking it to get attention. But a lot of people are like, oh, shit, maybe we were too harsh on her. And so actually Mem like breaks it down kind of exposition style at one point where she's like, yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a very vocal minority of people who are like big Akane haters right now. But a majority of the people who watch the show are just kind of silently waiting to see what the right choice is. Do we hate her or do we not? And so if we can spin the narrative that actually she's the victim in all of this, and like she's actually fine and we all love her and it was just like the editors making her look bad, then we can move all those people over to her side, and then it's never going to end, but it will at least get better past this point.
So Aqua bullies production basically into stealing whatever footage he can, and them using their personal images and footage pretty much with the, hey, she's a minor, do you want to actually get in trouble with this or not, because if you don't let us have this, you're gonna get sued, basically.
Yeah, he basically guilt trips the production and is like, hey, director, how old are you? He's like, I'm in my 30s. And he's like, yeah, Akane's 17. And I don't know what's going on in that editing room, but you guys are like, if she gets hurt by this production, that is on your shoulders.
Yep.
Give me the raw footage. And he's like, okay, fine. And so now they have the raw footage of them making up right after. They take all of this stuff. And Aqua, we haven't talked about this, but he's been like working under the director of the movie that I was in. Yeah, he's like, the director's kind of like this minor character. So Aqua knows video editing. Mem knows about like how to post on social media. SEO, yeah, my queen. And then like one of the other guys is really into music, so he made some backing track for it. And there's like all this other stuff. And so eventually the group pulls together and they make this like montage of like, this is the show from our perspective. And it includes the footage of immediately after the slap, Akane and Yuki like hugging and making up and being sweet to each other so that people know it's just the editors making her look bad.
And also all the other cast members enjoying their time with her. Eventually they put it online, and Mem is like, if we reach this many views in like 5 minutes, it means there'll be a success. And it does. And so that kind of becomes the viral thing that comes out of the show, being like, hey, it was only editing. Kane's actually a great person. Those fucking editors, we hate them. Kind of vibe.
Yeah. And so there is a positive spin to the end of it. However.
Yeah. So we do need to talk about some real life stuff that happens with reality television. This is when we're going to get into the real life suicide triggers. So full disclosure, I watch a lot of reality TV. I watch a lot of reality dating shows. So I am at least familiar from a consumer standpoint, where it is very common, and people who watch a lot of reality dating television shows know that it's common, that there's usually going to be a villain, right? And everyone knows that, oh, it's a villain, and it's usually because of the editing. So a non-dating example, I've been watching old episodes of The Amazing Race very recently.
Amazing. I'm just going to let you go off on this for
on
a
my
while.
Reality TV rant.
Yeah, go.
So season 5 of The Amazing Race I've been watching, there's this one couple, and the entire season they have been put as the villains. So the couple are on TV, and they say afterwards, like, there was an interview years later, and they're like, yeah, we actually never watched our season of The Amazing Race. And when we did, we were really shocked because, yes, all this stuff happened, but it was such a small percentage of our time there, and we weren't the only ones who went through this or had these difficult times or fights with each other, because it was, first of all, a high-stress situation. We're not sleeping. There's cameras on you all the time. With Amazing Race, there's money involved. But our editing for that was cut to only show the bad parts, because the editors, it's reality TV, right? Like, it started because, honestly, back in the day, I think it was during a writer's strike, if I remember right, the history of reality television, or when writing fees were high, and so they're trying to think of a way to produce television that was entertaining, that did not require a script. The solution was put cameras on people and see what they do, maybe give a monetary reward, right? And doing so, it kind of, the onus became on the editing room to make that through plot, to keep people interested, to subtly, if there's something where there's a winner, to try to get something where the winner is being cheered on. And, for example, a rival, like Kana in this situation, is shown as the villain. So that way, at the very end, even if it's not explicit, you have the winner is Yuki because she got the guy, and the bad guy is Akane and she didn't get the guy, and aren't you happy because of that, right? So some similar things happen in dating shows. Like in The Bachelor, there's usually a villain. The villain usually, quote-unquote villain, right? Because, again, they're real people. They may be acting a persona, they may not, but there is an element of reality because things aren't scripted. and maybe the villain, only their worst parts are shown, and the hero, right, will only show their positive parts.
Yeah.
So, but in context, what happened a few months before this Oshi no Ko episode came out, and just full disclosure, the author of Oshi no Ko has said that he was not influenced by this specific event, but rather what happens on reality dating shows a lot. And it does. There have been people on various reality dating television shows, Japan, US, UK, otherwise, who have taken their lives tragically, sometimes because of stress they endured on the show, sometimes not. But very soon before this chapter came out, there is a very popular reality dating television show in Japan called Terrace House. I have seen it. If you haven't seen it, but you know American TV, it's kind of like the real life, but Japan, right? So it's a bunch of people in a house. They may, and it just films their life in this house. They might start dating.
They might kiss.
Not. They might not. This one is not specifically a dating show. It's a lot closer to the real life, where the real world, where the idea is you just see people. It's common for people to get in relationships in the show, just because after it being on for like a decade, a lot of people ended up in relationships. But there was a person on the show. Her name is Hana Kimura. She was a star for wrestling before. In her season, she was cast as the villain. Essentially, I say cast. She was edited as a villain. And during the show, when her episode aired, that there was one where she was put very heavily in villain lighting in the editing room. There was a lot of backlash online, a lot of cyberbullying online, and she did end up taking her own life. And when the Oshi no Ko chapter came out, a lot of people drew parallels to Hana. Again, she's not the only one who has been in this situation before, but it was very much in recent memory.
Yeah.
And Terrace House is a very popular show in general.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, like, you know, with like writing a comic, you'd have to have planned this out fairly far in advance.
Yeah, so it's very possible that this plot point was already planned, but because it was in recent memory, there were a lot of people in Japan and globally drawing the parallels. And I think so from there, a lot of people see these Oshi no Ko episodes and they remember what happened with Terrace House. And that's where I think we need to make sure we acknowledge that about Hana in Terrace House, because another part of it is Hana's mother is still very vocal about how her daughter was treated by the editors and the directors on the show. And she was very unhappy with the Oshi no Ko episode because she was not consulted or warned. And again, it is very much in the public eye. And while, again, it might not be directly influenced by Hana, I am sure it was traumatizing to find everyone online drawing the same parallels without even knowing this was happening.
Yeah.
So it's important to know, and it's important to remember that there are this is an entertaining anime, but there are real life parallels that even just the display of such can be harming to some people. It can be helpful to some people too, but it's important to recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like if we talked about the show without talking about that, we would be kind of doing the whole situation a disservice. So exactly. I do think it is important to bring up. And
also something afterwards that actually was awful and horrible is when Hana's mom spoke up about being uncomfortable with Oshi no Ko showing this in anime form. A lot of the anime fans, I know that it was heavily the Japanese speaking audience, but that is not to say that the American or US English speaking or global audience didn't do it as well, because they very likely did. They actually started bullying Hana's mom online, which is like, you missed the point there, guys.
The point just goes way the fuck over their fucking heads.
No, it's awful.
Just like, oh, goddamn. Yeah. People are fucking terrible.
Yep. So all that being said, there are real life consequences. As the show Oshi no Ko does demonstrate, you don't actually ever know what's going on behind the scenes with people. And again, I know we gave our warning ahead, but if you are someone who is dealing with suicidal thoughts and ideation, you're not alone. And please do reach out. I know depending on where you live in the world, there might be different resources. Maybe Star and I will put in some of the ones for our for countries that most of our audience is in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put some links in the descriptions.
So that was our big oof in the middle, but we, as to Star's point, if we didn't acknowledge it, we would be doing a disservice to Hana, especially because, again, she is what is on a lot of people's minds, both in Japan and globally, especially when the chapter came out and then later when the show aired.
Yeah, I only heard like a little bit about this because I'm not really on like anime social media or anything. Right. I kind of keep my head down, but like I was hearing a little bit about this when the episode aired.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, like, again, I watch reality TV, so I was reading the manga when it was coming out. So when the chapter came out, I'm like, oh, this is 100% talking about that. Like, because it was so fresh for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was at the point where, like, you could very reasonably assume that the show is making commentary. I feel like the show, maybe. The manga probably wasn't super directly. They may have changed a few things as inspiration, but I as a person who writes comics and knows how far in advance a lot of these things are usually planned, I'm willing to give the author the benefit of the doubt that this specific instance did not inspire them to have this specific plot point in there. I'm willing to bet that this was already in the story. But then when it happened, I feel like they probably maybe took some inspiration from like exactly how people reacted and maybe put some of that in the show. I feel like that's a fair assumption to make.
To be fair also, and again, as I mentioned, this is not... Hana Kimura is not the only person who committed suicide after being cyberbullied online because of a reality television show. It is something that is unfortunately common, and unfortunately a lot of reality television shows don't treat their talent in a way that is ethical, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm not super like into all of the discourse about this, but it's like, I feel like what we need to take away is don't fucking bully people on the internet, number one.
Yep.
And reality TV, treat your fucking people better.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%.
I feel like that's the moral that we can take away from both the real life instances and Oshinoko's commentary on it, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
Is just that like the audience as a whole fucking sucks.
Yep.
And it's something that I've been learning, like not nearly to this extent, God no, but just like you know, you're a YouTuber, you're an internet personality, points to self. You have to kind of put yourself out there, and you occasionally do get people who are just frothing at the mouth at you. And how you respond to that is going to have, and how people respond to you can have a really big impact on how you view yourself and your mental health and all of that other type of stuff. And it's like, I've by no means experienced anything nearly this bad, but it's like it hurts. And so like I can't even imagine having like so many people turn against you like that. It's horrifying. Literally my worst nightmare.
But it's awful. So that was our real life talk. We're probably going to go back to talking about the anime from now on. So yes, just but we did want to make sure we acknowledge the real life events.
Our sad bit in the middle, because there was a sad bit in the middle of the show. So
there we go. But
we warned y'all.
It's hard. It's rough.
It's real heavy. Like they spend a lot of time showing the build up, and it's legitimately hard to watch at points. And
again, if this is a trigger for you, it might be hard watching the show. If it's hard listening, caution watching the show.
Do not watch the show. If just listening to us talk about it is giving you the heebie-jeebs, do not watch the show.
And we're not saying that don't listen to the show. I know, like it is rough. It's a rough watch.
It really can be. But I mean, it's, I don't want to say real, but it's like it's something that does happen in real life, and I think the show does provide commentary on it.
Exactly.
So the show like provides commentary on a lot of different aspects of the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And this is definitely something that they lean into really hard for this set of episodes.
Yep, exactly. So going back to the show, Akane thankfully was saved by Aqua. The little clip show goes online, and in general, the public's favor of her is we stan Akane. The editors suck, right?
Yeah, the people kind of the people, like
people,
capital T, capital P, the people do kind of come around. Like, she still gets bullied by some folks, but it's not the majority anymore, thankfully.
Yep.
She does take a break from the show. She eventually she announces that she's coming back, and she goes to like tell all the others. And so she's like, okay, but if I come back to the show, I'm just going to have my same problem, is I'm going to be too much of a wallflower. And some of the other girls suggest you should put on some kind of a persona.
Yes, and they're also like, the persona helps guard you mentally too, because then if people are saying things about you, it's not really you. It's like
not
this
really
extra
you.
layer.
It's this like person that you are putting on like a costume, basically. And it's not the real you. And so she asks for suggestions, and Aqua happens to be the only guy in the room when they're having this conversation. So everyone's like, hey, Aqua, what kind of girls do you like?
And Aqua's like, well, describes I.
And all the other girls are like, that sounds like I from B-Komachi. And he's like, God damn it.
And so then Akane does research, capital R.
Yep. And like, Akane's kind of scary.
Yep. She's L.
Akane? No, it's too good though. Yep. Akane's like the very in-depth researcher going deep into like human psychology to get really into these roles that she's playing. And Aqua's like the light Yagami who's like planning this murder and like doing all this shit to like do like figure people out. And they are two sides of the love triangle.
Yep.
Oh my god. Wait, does that make Kana Misa?
Uh-oh. Unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but yeah.
We'll talk about it at the credits. We'll talk about it after the credits. We're gonna have a manga spoilers party after the credits.
Anyway,
so Akane basically spends who knows how long like digging into I, researching her, figuring out all of her shit, putting like a bunch of like photos and sticky notes up on her wall, like really psychoanalyzing her. To the point where it's kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah.
She makes some like assumptions about her character, and she like basically just builds this whole profile.
And they are correct assumptions. They're like, yeah, she acts like somebody who had sex at an early age, and you're like,
tell me more, okay. And so she then, at the end of this episode, she shows up. And she's like, okay, it's time to start filming. And she like goes into character, and the ending violins start playing for the ending song. And she starts doing her eye performance, and she opens her eyes, and she has the sparkle.
Both her eyes. So like Aqua and Ruby only have one. Akane has both.
She has the sparkle eyes. And Sarah, I remember very vividly that we watched this episode together when I was over at your house for MomoCon. Yeah. Do you remember the joke that I made?
No, I don't remember.
I was like, oh, girl bought cosplay contacts.
She bought cosplay contacts. She was ready.
She bought the contacts. She bought the sparkle eye contacts. But yeah, and so Aqua sees that Akane is acting exactly like I. Like, even her voice sounds kind of similar. And, like, the perfect imitation. And Aqua freaks the fuck out. Yep. And then end credits. Episode 8.
Episode 8. Aqua's like, what the fuck, mom? / idol?
Yeah. Mom / love interest? Oh, it's so...
There's some anime bullshit in Oshinoko, guys.
Anime bullshit in Oshinoko, yep. So basically the first half of episode 8 is Aqua having mixed emotions and getting really flustered whenever Akane does the eye impression at him. And all the other girls are like, oh my god, he's totally got a crush on you for real though. And then, so like it's not like super duper prevalent, but the idea is that eventually we come to the end of the series. Yuki, the other kind of like the girl in the main love triangle, she ends up rejecting the guy that picks her. Mem ends up, I think she gets asked out and she rejects him, but Aqua and Akane.
Aqua x Akane forever at this point for the show.
Yep. And so they kiss in the final episode. They are the ending couple. Surprise ending twist couple. Dun, dun, dun.
So then there's the rap party. Basically, what you find out is Aqua Akane, they did it for the show. They knew they did it for the show, but they're like, should we keep fake dating for a while?
Yeah, it's like, should we keep dating? Yeah, Aqua at some point during the show realizes that, like, he's not actually in love with Akane. He is in love with the person that she is pretending to be.
He's in love with her acting.
Yeah, he's in love with her acting, essentially. And so he's like, I don't actually have any romantic interest in her, but as a person in the entertainment industry, she will be useful to keep around. And that's the audio that plays as he kisses her. And it's like, woof,
Come
like,
on,
you got
guy.
me, ass motherfucker.
So at the rap party, basically Aqua and Akane have a bit of a talk, and they're like, I guess we'll keep dating publicly, at least.
We'll, like, take some pictures for Instagram or whatever, but it's just a work thing.
And you also find out that, you know, the Yuki girl, she rejected the guy. She actually is dating him for real. They just didn't want it to be on the show because they didn't want to be public about it, which I'm like, love that, actually.
Respect, honestly. Yeah, no, it's like the best way you could have done it, I think.
And then Mem.
Well, no. So first,
yes.
Aqua goes and drags the director. He's like, hey, I was on your stupid show. Give me the intel. And he's like, okay, we'll set up a dinner date. And then Mem. So the cast is walking home after the show. And just because of the direction they have to walk in, Aqua ends up walking alone with Memcho. And Mem is like, yeah, Akane really did get Ai's, like, personality down just right. And Aqua's like, how do you know so much about Ai? She was kind of before your time, wasn't she? And Mem reveals that she's always been really into idols. And in fact, she really wanted to be an idol, but she kind of missed her opportunity for reasons we'll go into later.
And Star's like, me too.
Me too, girly, same. And so she's like, I've always wanted to be an idol, but you know, I'm doing well with my YouTube thing, so it's fine, it's whatever. And then Aqua's like, he's like, well, if you want to join an idol group, the new B-Komachi is recruiting people, and we need at least one more. And Mem's like, quit joking with me. Oh shit, you're being serious. Oh my god. And so she, of course, says yes immediately.
Because Star would also.
Listen!
I mean,
I've been considering trying to get back into it, okay, but it's episode 9.
Yep.
The rest of the show is idol time, thank God.
We're back in idols.
We're back in the idol zone.
Mem is recruited, signs on to B-Komachi, owner of B-Komachi, new B-Komachi Miyako is basically like, you're like 30, aren't you? And Mem's like,
Yeah, so Mem's tragic backstory is that I think her mom was like a single mother and she had 2 younger brothers. And she, because her mom got sick, she had to drop out of high school to work and put her younger brothers through college. But by the time she was done with all that, she was too old for most idol auditions. And so she started streaming, and because she didn't drop out of high school, she was on break for several years. And so she's like, well, I'm technically still a high school girl, right? And so she, for the last 3 years, has been streaming under the alias of this high school girl. And people got really into it, so she just kept up the lie. And now she is pretending to be 18 and she's 25.
how long have you been 18?
A while. But it's just like, I love her so much. I'm gonna cosplay her eventually.
You gotta.
I gotta. That's my best girl right there.
Memcho.
I almost cosplayed her for this past IkiCon,
Hell
but
yeah.
I didn't have time to put it together.
understand.
So eventually, maybe this summer. I don't know. I want to do
Memcho.
it. Memcho, my love. I love her. Can I bitch for a moment?
Yes, go.
She does not get nearly enough love in this fucking show.
So from my understanding, if I remember right from like an old interview, is Mem was meant to be like a minor character, and then like people really liked her and the author really liked her, so then he wrote more of her.
Yeah, but even then,
I know,
still, like,
enough.
I don't think this is technically counts as spoilers, but I'm current on the manga. She just is barely in
I know.
it past a certain point, and it breaks my fucking heart. I want the Memcho spin-off show.
Yeah.
And I will
us more
watch
Mem.
the fuck out of that show. I will push the rest of these characters off of the desk in favor of
Who
Memcho's
cares about
centered
them?
show. She is I mean, listen, she's also got the lying thing down. Memcho, perfect idol.
Perfect idol. Let's go.
Oh, gosh. I love her so much. I want the Memcho show.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter. Anyway, so she signs on. She's in the group. She's their third now.
And now that she's in the group, people are actually like, oh, hey, this group has that girl from the internet on it.
Yeah, Mem's like, yeah, I posted our like introduction videos on our channel, so they hit like 10K on the B-Komachi channel pretty easily. And Mem's like, yeah, I've got like over 300K. It would be embarrassing if we weren't able to get this many. And so yeah, like a lot of their fans did come from Memcho, and this is also something I can relate to a little bit.
Yep. Idol
Shilling our D&D
days.
show. Well, yeah, and Idol days. It's like using my YouTube audience, rodeoing them, and being like, "Hey, if you like the stuff that I make, you should go and look
Try
at this
this
other
other
thing
thing
that
I
I do." Yeah, it's like look at my podcast, look at my D&D show, look at it, look at it. You come see, we're the same character.
And so now that they have their group together, they're like, well, we need some songs.
But B-Komachi has a lot of songs. Let's just do those.
It is like Idol 7 where they just have these ancient Zero songs and they're like, we'll just sing Zero songs.
Yep.
It's here. They have these ancient songs from B-Komachi and they will sing. I guess AKB does that too. They only sing AKB songs.
Yep.
It's the reincarnated idol thing, I guess.
The legacy.
The legacy.
What is a legacy? But yeah, so we get a very brief aside with Aqua finally going to dinner with the director, where he finds out that when I basically first started as an idol, she was like real kind of frumpy, real kind of like easily agitated. She wasn't like very personable. And then the director suggested she go to this theater workshop. And after she went to the theater workshop, he didn't know who it was, but he was like, I could tell that she met somebody because she actually started taking care of herself after that. And so he hypothesizes that she must have met and fallen in love with somebody at this theater company.
Yep.
And it turns out that the theater company is the one that Akane works for. It's called La La Lai.
So that means Aqua has to stick with the Akane for a while longer.
Yep. So he has an in with this theater company, which his father may or may not be involved with still.
We just don't know.
Back to the idols. Push them off the desk.
Do you want to go to an idol festival?
I do.
Well, we're going to one.
Yeah, so the girl... Oh, well, first, we have to decide who's the center.
You're right. It's so important. I picked the red one.
Well, yeah, so the girls are trying to decide who the center should be. And Kana's like, I don't want to be the center. One of you two should be the center. And the other two, like Ruby and Mem, they're like, well, I don't know. It's like, I don't want it. I don't necessarily want it super badly, but the center has to be a really good dancer, says Ruby. And Mem's like, well, I feel like the center should be the person with the most amount of fans, right?
Right.
And it's like, obviously they both really want to be the center, but they can't decide who, and they don't want to just claim it.
Yep. So they come up with like these weird series of competitions to figure out who should be the center. And one of them is, let's sing.
Let's go to karaoke, and whoever gets the highest score can be center. You find out. Kana doesn't go.
Yep.
But they go to this karaoke battle, and they both suck.
Yep. Pretty bad.
And so they're like, fuck, what do we do? And so at some point, they're like, it had come up earlier that Kana does have a little bit of experience in the music industry because she did this like one cutesy little like childhood workout exercises song.
Yep.
And had like a very brief stint attempting to be a singer right after that. And it kind of flopped and no one really paid attention to her music career. It's like when a YouTuber tries to go into music. Anyway.
Yeah, poor Kana.
Yeah. And so while the girls are at karaoke, they try looking up her like exercise song and end up finding a whole bunch of her songs are on this karaoke machine. And so they end up like looking up her songs on YouTube and they see, oh shit, she's actually a really good singer. What the hell? She was kind of bearing the lead there.
Yep. She is actually good.
And so then at the start of episode 10, they both go back to Kana and they're like, hey, so we talked it out and we've decided that you should be center. And Kana's like, guys, I already told you, I don't want to be center. So these next 3 episodes are about idols, but they're also mostly about Kana.
Yep. Yep.
This is a point where it's very obvious that Kana feels like the author's favorite.
Yeah, probably.
She is, of all the characters in the show, she gets the most development.
Yep. Agreed.
Like pretty much everything that happens in the idol part of the show is like, you'd think it would be about Ruby. No, it's about Kana and her insecurities and her inner demons.
Yep.
Because basically Kana, she has, and I'm gonna be honest, like, okay, here's my thing on Kana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love or hate her.
Yeah, I'm kind of neutral about Kana too.
I'm pretty neutral about her. It's like, she's not my favorite, but I don't hate her. She's just kind of there. But the thing about Kana is I do find her very relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Because her whole thing is that she was this amazing child actress. She was super famous. She was like considered a genius child actress. And then she hit 5th grade and she's like, she got dropped by her agency. They're like, we only deal with child actors. You're not a child actor anymore, even though you're 10. And you're gone. You're done, basically.
Yeah.
And she has had to claw her way to stay in this industry the entire time. And she tried music and it failed. She tried going indie and it hasn't really worked out for her. And now she's like a washed up idol. And she's like, she feels so realistically written.
Yeah, like you can tell too that even though, again, she gets a lot of screen time, she has a lot of development, she's probably the author's favorite side character, at least Aqua being the main character.
Yeah.
You could tell that there was actually a lot of thought put into how her development would happen.
Thought. Yeah, like a lot of thought, just like you can feel the desperation off of her to like make it. She so desperately wants to stay in this industry. But at the same time, she's saddled with these constant feelings of failure. Like she has failed at every single thing she's ever done. And no, I don't find that relatable in the slightest. What are you talking about? Gifted and talented kid burnout syndrome combined with like trying a lot of different shit and none of it especially works out in your favor. And it's just, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's like, she's not my favorite character, but I do sympathize a lot with her and her struggles. And it does make for like very compelling as a character, especially in these last couple episodes. Because like her main point when she's fighting back, she's like, I don't want to be center. I don't want to be center. She doesn't say it outright until the very last, like, well, not the last episode, like later this episode, I think. She is just in her head. She's like, if I am the center, we are going to fail. And I am going to drag these other two down with me. And she takes that really hard. And she has a lot of fucking feelings about that, a lot of baggage. And like you can tell, and she's just like very laissez-faire about the whole thing, but it's because she doesn't think she's going to be as successful.
Yes, she fears that if she is the center, then that would make their group fail. Basically.
Yeah. And then she's like, I can't have that on my shoulders. One of you two should be the center. But they keep talking her into it. They keep pushing her and she eventually relents.
Yep.
But she's not happy about it.
Nope. But Ruby is like, hey, we're all starting from zero here. Right? So it's okay. The only way we can go is up from here.
Yep. And so like they have that pep talk right before they go on stage for their first major performance, which we do need to circle back and talk about. I forget exactly how. I think the director of the show that we've talked to a couple times like has connections and likes Kana.
Right.
And I think it's when he heard about it, he was able to get them on stage for this thing called Japan Idol Festival, which I'm not sure if that's a real thing, but I'm willing to bet it's a real thing. JIF. It feels like a real thing.
I feel like it is. Let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But yeah, and so the three of them are like, do we even have the right to debut at such a big event that most people work years for? And then the point is made that we kind of have to take this opportunity because if we don't, we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Also, there's not a Japan Idol Festival, but there is a Tokyo Idol Festival. So that seems like a pretty direct reference.
A pretty direct reference, yeah. I don't know if I've ever brought this up on the podcast, but I've been to Tokyo Idol Festival. Because I found it accidentally.
Ayo, let's go.
My last week in Japan, before I left, my brother came out to visit and we just like tooled around. We like went to Kyoto for a few days and we spent some time in Tokyo. And on one of I think it was like our it was one of the last days we were in Tokyo before we climbed Mount Fuji. We went to Odaiba, like this island in the Tokyo Bay, where they have like, that's where the school was for Love Live Nijigasaki. And that's where the big Gundam is. And the day we happened to go was the day that Tokyo Idol Festival was happening. And I cannot begin to tell you how badly I wanted to sit and watch. The only reason I didn't is because my brother is really noise sensitive and it was extremely loud. And he was like, I can't sit and watch this. I'm going a little crazy. And I was just like, I'm sorry, brother, we don't have to stay. But I was there. At least
a wonderful nugget of information. Yes, thank you for sharing.
At least a little bit. So there are 2 times that I stumbled into idol shows when I was living in Japan. The other time is when my friend and I were in Osaka and we were just like walking around this big park and we started hearing like cute idol music in the distance. And I was like, Kayla, I'm sorry. Your need to go see what that is. My idol senses are tingling. And we found out there was like a little underground idol like showcase event happening. And so we sat and watched for like 2 hours as like all these different groups went up and performed. One of them gave us a CD and I still have it. I never listened to it, but I have it. It was like a promotional event type thing. And it was so much fun and I loved it. And my friend was just there. She's like, this is fun. I'm glad Star's having fun.
There we go.
And I was just like, I'm sorry we're taking so much of our Osaka time watching this idol show. I just really we're the only white people in this crowd. I love it. At least I want to watch.
Yeah, let's go.
I feel like that second one I've definitely brought up on the show at some point, but I can't remember which episode it was. Anyway, Oshinoko.
Anyways, the girls are getting into not Tokyo Idol Festival, just Japan's Idol Festival.
Yeah. Also, there's love triangle bullshit. Kana
gets jealous.
Kana has been mad at Aqua ever since he started dating Akane, and she's been like giving him the cold shoulder, and he's kind of upset about it. He at one point disguises himself as Pieon to give them training exercises as an excuse to get Kana to talk to him, and Kana finds out about it later, and I don't care about this love triangle. I don't care about this love triangle. It's idol time.
It's idol time. So it's Japan Idol Festival time, and the girls are making their debut on like an actually pretty high stress event. There are a lot of other idol groups there. There's a lot of audience members there. They have a little bit of popularity, mostly because of Memcho, but for all intents and purposes, they are debuting under a name, B-Komachi, and that everyone knows, and everyone's like, who are these girls who are taking the B-Komachi name? They better be good enough. And they're under a lot of stress, basically.
Yeah. So we should also talk about, because it's going to become relevant once they actually go on stage, they picked their image colors. They're like pen-like colors.
Yes.
And so Ruby went with red, which does make sense because that's her name. And it's also, she was like red like Ai, because Ai's image color was also red. Despite her hair and eyes both being purple, her color was red apparently.
Yes.
Whatever. Mem chooses yellow, which works for her.
Sure.
But it also makes it miserable to cosplay her because like she's either yellow or like that bright green that I don't like.
Not good star colors. A shame.
And then Kana chooses white. And this is the part where I realize red, white, and yellow, they shouldn't be named B-Komachi. There should be condiments.
Ooh, I
Ketchup,
love
mustard,
that.
mayonnaise.
I love that.
There's a place here in town called Mighty Fine. Well, it's I think it's a Texas thing. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's an Austin thing or a Texas thing. But when you are ordering your burger, they ask you if you want red, white, or yellow. As them asking you which condiments you want. And they'll like circle it on the paper bag before they send it back to the kitchen to get made. And that's what you think. It's them. That's all I can think about when they're condiments.
They're from Mighty Fine.
Ruby's the ketchup.
It's so important.
And Mem's the mustard. Memcho mustard.
Mem mustard.
And Kana's the mayonnaise.
Yeah, let's go.
Red, white, and yeller.
Yeller.
That's what they call it. I'm not making this shit up. I took you guys there.
Yes,
I took you and Athena there when you guys came for IkiCon a few years ago. That's the same as what I just said. Is like you have to ask how big the fries are, because if you ask how big the fry sizes are, they'll scream back into the kitchen, "Fry demo!" And then everybody in the kitchen will yell, "Fry demo!" And then in the back of the kitchen, you'll be able to look and you'll see a man holding up a thing of French fries.
Love that.
Like Simba from The Lion King. I remember Athena laughed so hard at that.
It's so important.
It's so good. Well, if y'all ever come to Texas, Sarah and
go
Athena
get a fry
and
demo.
Everybody else, if you ever go to Texas, you have to go to Mighty Fine Burgers. The food is very good.
Bring
very
your
good
pen
burgers.
lights for what color you want on your burger.
And ask them for a fry demo. Or ask them how big the fry. Ask them to show you the sizes of the fries.
Yep, there you go.
It's very important, and it will be the funniest thing you experience all day.
There you go.
Texas. Anyway, Oshinoko.
Oshinoko. Time for performance.
So they're going on their performance, and during their first song, Kana is very much like watching the audience. It's mostly yellow with a little bit of red. There's no white in this crowd. And she just kind of goes into her like PTSD tragic backstory of like, my parents don't need me. My agency left me. It's like, someone tell me that I'm doing something right. Someone tell me it's okay for me to be, someone validate my existence here, basically. And then she looks out into the crowd and she sees a single white glow stick being held by none other than Aqua. Who is also holding all the other girls' glow sticks.
Right, yes.
And he's doing like the uber Woda gay in the background.
Just
with
like
the
his when he was a
windmill
baby.
arms. Yeah, he's doing like the windmill arms. And he's like doing the thing where you like duck down and you like wave your thing around. And Kana's like laughing at him mentally. He's like, how are you not embarrassed doing that with a straight face? He has like the complete resting bitch face on the entire time he's doing this. And it's just like, it's very funny.
Yep. But he likes his idols still. He's serious, but he still likes idols.
He loves his idols still, and he's there to root for his sister and Kana, and I guess also Mem.
Yeah,
they
why
don't
not?
really interact too much.
I mean, they were on the show together. They're colleagues.
They were on the show together, yeah, but like they don't. Mem is also there,
Mem is also there.
and I hate that. I want the Mem show.
Mem show.
I want Mem
show
show to be the center of the Mem show.
Mem show.
But yeah, so basically Kana, after seeing him, she's like, okay, I've got one supporter, and it's you. That's fine. I'll make it so I'm going to be your idol specifically.
Yeah.
I think she uses the title of the show here. She's like, I will be your star.
Yep.
And so after that, they're on the ride home. And this is the part where Aqua finally tells her, like, yeah, I haven't actually seen Akane since the show
We're fake
wrapped
dating.
up. We're fake dating, basically. And Kana's like, oh shit, wait, I have a chance. And it's so funny because Mem realizes the love triangle, and she's like, I want to root for Akane, because she's my friend, but also Kana's my friend and my fellow idol. Oh God, what do I do?
Yep.
Who do I support here? It's very cute. We love Mem.
Yes. Mem does her best.
Yes. But then the last half, this is the last episode now, by the way.
At
The
the very
last
end.
half of the last episode is
hook.
basically, it's the hook for season 2, because we are getting a season 2. They've already said it. We don't know when it's airing, as far as I know.
Not
Maybe
yet.
this summer, shrug.
It's probably not summer. I feel like they would have announced it if it was summer by now.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's only February.
That's true.
We're still in the spring season. They could announce it any day now.
That's
But
true.
yeah, we know for a fact we are getting a second season. We just don't know when. But this second half of the episode basically sets up the plot, which I imagine will take up a large chunk, if not
More
the
than
entire
likely,
second season, which is a 2.5D stage play based on a manga.
Yep.
And Aqua's gonna be in it, and Akane is gonna be in it, and Kana's gonna be in it, and their characters are also in a love triangle.
Yep.
So it's a love triangle in the play and a love triangle in real life.
Yep. And Aqua also thinks that there might be a connection with the theater company and his dad.
Yeah, and so the theater company that is putting it on is La La La, the place where Akane works, and also theoretically where Aqua met, or where I met Aqua and Ruby's father. So that's motivation for him to join in. Also, Akane and Kana fucking hate each other.
Yep.
We finally get to see them interacting, and they are like the pettiest bitches alive.
Yep.
They hate each other.
Yep.
Like fierce fucking rivalry here.
Love triangle.
And so we set that up. A couple of the folks from the dating show and some of the other little bit stuff that we've seen throughout the series are also going to be in this play. I don't care about them.
Yep, who cares?
But they're like some of the characters we meet in the season will be recurring characters. But they're fairly minor.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so the second half of episode 11, the final episode, sets up what will eventually become season 2. And so it kind of leaves off on like a weird place.
Yep.
But we know we are going to get a season 2. So it's fine.
And
that's Oshinoko.
That's Oshinoko. So
that's Oshinoko, baby.
Final thoughts. Like Star said, it's an idol anime in the sense that the idol haunts the narrative, which is our idol. But most of it is like acting stuff, and Aqua is not an idol.
It's a lot of acting. It's a lot of the author has beefs with the entertainment industry, apparently.
Which is fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting setup for a show at the very least. And I was very, like, even when we weren't planning on watching this for the podcast because the podcast was on hiatus, I was watching this episode to episode. Just because I wanted to see what the fuck happened.
It's intriguing. Also, as mentioned, it's pretty, especially for... Yeah. Especially for what it is. Pretty. It is very well done. It's very pretty. The OP, we didn't mention the ED, but that also is a banger. Both the opening and the endings.
Both of them are fucking bang
they're really good.
Oh my god. Like, if nothing else, go listen to the music from the show because every bit of it slaps.
You've probably heard the opening.
You probably have.
Because it was like a chart topper for a while.
So fucking good. It's so good.
And also iBest Girl.
iBest Girl. Well,
Memcho for Star.
Girl. Best Girl. We've actually like briefly considered cosplaying from it, and you said you wanted to potentially do
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still like a...
I don't know. I think I want to know how the manga ends before I decide if I want to cosplay it or not.
Yeah, true, though.
So, but at least from this one season, it is entertaining. If you like a lot of, I guess, entertainment industry drama, some weird anime bullshit, some good songs that are only occasionally in there, but they're amazing when they are, you would probably like Oshinoko.
Yeah. If you want a show about idols, it's not actually an idol show. You do this. If you like a murder mystery and you don't mind that they kind of beef the beginning of the setup a little bit, it's an intriguing watch.
Yeah.
It's like the mystery is not the best setup thing, and it does kind of take a back seat for commentary about the entertainment industry throughout the entire show.
Yep.
But I mean, it's still there, and it's interesting, and it's a through line for everything that goes on in the characters. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. But if you are caught up on the manga, stay after the credits because
we'll have a talk.
We'll have a talk after the credits. We're going to have a talk after the credits, but it's all going to be manga spoilers, and it's going to be big manga spoilers. If you stay after the credits, you have been warned.
And also for anyone listening in the future, this is manga spoilers as of March 2024.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, it's like chapter 100 something.
I have no idea.
I forget. It's like 100 teens. It's somewhere in the like 110s to 120s. I don't think we've hit 120 yet, but it's up there.
But now that we're done with our Oshinoko discussion, why don't we talk about our next show?
Yes.
So Star and I, our next show, which you all can watch along with us, and again, we will be opening a thread on our Discord to hold discussions. We're going to watch Eternal Boys. We have not watched Eternal Boys, either of us. Nope. We have not even seen a clip from the show. All we know is it is
great.
A show where all of these Eternal Boys are not teenagers. They are all adult men, and they are idols.
They're all idols over 30, and I'm just like, let's go, my people! So, like, I didn't recognize the name of this show when Sarah first brought it up as a potential next watch, and she's like, yeah, it's the one where all the idols are old, and I'm like, let's go!
Let's go! So we are going to watch adult idols.
Yeah, so the show title, if you missed it, is called Eternal Boys. Is it on High Dive, you said?
It is on High Dive if you're watching in the US. I will have to check if you're watching from outside the US.
Yes. But yeah, so neither of us have watched it. We don't know basically anything about this show. It's got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, which honestly could go either way.
Who knows?
Who knows? So we'll see. We shall see. But I am excited because I want to see what they do with it.
Yes. So if you want to join us in that discussion, come on our Discord page. It would be linked probably in the show notes and also on our website, which is
idoldays.card.co, spelled idoldays.carrd.co.
And we
that
also
is our website.
Have a YouTube, and please follow us there on YouTube. Listen to our shows on YouTube. We are Idol Days on YouTube. And
subscribe to the channel.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Subscribe to the werewolves. Like and subscribe.
Yep, there we go.
We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on the show so that we can eventually monetize the channel and start paying for Sarah's Crunchyroll subscription with ad revenue. Let's go! But yes, you can also listen to us on Spotify and maybe other places. I don't know. Anchor's been weird recently.
Yes.
I know that Spotify at the very least still works.
Let's go.
Let's go. Weekly, let's go.
So this has been Idol Days. We've been Lady. See you next live. Bye.
Bye. Welcome to the after show.
Welcome to the after show. So we are going to have spoilers. The most recent episode of the manga that came out is chapter. We're in manga territory now.
Chapter time.
Chapter 141. I don't know if you've read
the
most
recent 141?
Yes.
I've read up until it's like a couple chapters after Miyako and the president find each other again.
Oh, okay. Yes. So there have been more episodes, chapters since then.
Chapters. Yeah. So I'm not like entirely up to date, but I'm very close. I just caught up like a couple weeks ago.
Yes. So you can read the manga again, US. I'm not sure about internationally, legally through the Manga Plus app, which is, I believe, what Jump publishes through on the US side. So,
shrug.
Yep, I don't know, but that's where you can read the Oshinoko manga. They do simul updates with the manga in Japan. So, manga updates. So, basically, at this point, we still don't super have a great idea of how the story is going to resolve, right?
Should we do like a brief outline of like everything just to get to the point we're at? So the freaking 2.5D play lasts so long.
It's a long time. It's a huge arc.
So long, and I'm really hoping that when they do the anime, they cut down a lot of that shit. Does this manga come out weekly or monthly? It's gotta be weekly, right?
I think there was a while it was weekly. Recently, it's been like every 2 weeks or something.
That's fair. Yeah, I know the people went on hiatus for a little bit right after dropping that fucking chapter. Ayo. But yeah, so I can imagine them like trying to spread it out for more content. That would make sense to me in my head.
Right.
I genuinely wonder how much of season 2 is going to be spent on this 2.5D play thing.
It's probably going to be the whole season, honestly.
It's probably going to be the whole season, but I didn't like that arc very much. It just felt like it was really dragging, and it...
Yeah, and a lot of it was very much the author having beef with anime adaptations.
Yeah, can we talk about that? It was really funny once you, like, if you know the history. So the writer, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, because I haven't like super duper researched it, but from what I understand, the writer of Oshinoko, because the writer and the artist work together, the writer was also behind Kaguya-sama Love is War. We talked about this in the episode. And I guess he did not like the process of adapting it into an anime.
Yep. Apparently.
And so now he's got beef, and the beef with the industry is on plain display in the 2.5D play arc. It's really funny.
People do not respect the authors.
No, they don't. There's like the author of the manga that the 2.5D play is based on is like a major character during most of this arc, and I'm like, why does she feel like your self-insert?
She really is.
It's really funny.
But anyways, after that goes on, there is a bit where we do more digging into Aqua and Ruby's parents. There's a creepy kid who question mark.
Who's the creepy kid? Who is the creepy kid? They just kind of showed up out of nowhere. And I'm like, who is this lost child?
Who's the sassy lost child?
I guess they are the person who reincarnated Aqua and Ruby, but we don't even know their fucking name.
We don't know anything about
who
them.
are they? Why is child? Why are they here? I don't know. They're trying to set something up, but mostly I'm just confused.
They find their half brother. Aqua goes like dormant for a while because he thinks his dad actually is just dead, right?
Yeah,
and was
he
this
loses
old guy.
the sparkle in his eye.
Then Akane is like, Aqua doesn't see the catch here, which is maybe the half brother's dad is not the guy he thinks he is, right?
Yeah, maybe the half brother's dad, maybe the mom cheated on the half brother's dad, and actually the half brother's dad is the same as Aqua's dad.
Yep.
And I forget most of the stuff about the half brother. I kind of read most of the manga in kind of a fugue state over the course of a weekend.
After the anime.
I didn't forget.
Yep,
after the anime. Yeah, like right after the anime finished.
Then the part where we're like, about, which seems like that's where Star left off, is Ruby figures out who Aqua was in his previous life.
Yeah, they find so Ruby was like, you find out that Ruby throughout most of the show thinks that the doctor is still alive.
Yeah.
And has been trying to find him ever since. I guess never Googled him because there are articles saying that he was his body was never found, but like he did go missing.
Yep.
And she's like, I named the group B-Komachi because I was hoping that maybe he would find me and like we would figure it out and I could meet him again. And then they like find Ruby.
Yep.
Or like, is it Ruby or Aqua? One of them finds his fucking dead body.
I think Aqua finds his own body, if I remember right.
Gets highly traumatized about it.
Yep.
And then in the wake of this happening, Aqua and Ruby figure out who each other's previous identities were. Yep. And then after this revelation...
we get some anime bullshit.
So we get some anime bullshit because Ruby, so back when she was still Sarina...
Yep.
Ruby had a major crush on the doctor, but she was like 12.
Yep.
And she was like, Doctor, when I turn 16, will you marry me? And the doctor's like, yeah,
sure,
once you get
kid.
better and you turn 16, you're a child, but I'll humor you because you're terminally ill. Yeah, sure. When you turn 16, we can get married, whatever. And so now Ruby's like, well, I'm 16 now.
Wink.
Wink. And I'm just like, no.
Because there's, first of all, there's siblings. There's also the age gap. And also
the weird, reincarnated age gap.
Right?
And they're biological siblings now, technically.
How can you make both of those be things at the same time? But here we are. But that's never brought up again, so hopefully.
Yeah, it's like, so, okay, I didn't notice this the first time I read it, but I saw someone talking about it on Twitter that mentioned Ruby does not say this directly to Aqua.
No, she doesn't. She
says it like on the other, she thinks it. I thought she said it to him, and then when we come back in the next chapter, they just do not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Ruby definitely like is still having these thoughts, and like people have teased Aqua about being obsessed with his sister like the entire series.
Yep.
And now like the two of them are being like kind of weirdly lovey-dovey, but I mean for the most part it's played for gags for like half of a short chapter, and then it kind of never gets brought up again.
Except,
and I'm like, except
do you want spoilers for what you haven't read yet, Star?
Please.
Okay.
So this is one of the reasons why I'm like,
I don't know how much I want to really say I'm an Oshinoko fan until things are resolved, because some of this anime bullshit I would be extremely uncomfortable with if it happens.
Please.
Essentially, Aqua ends up being like, investigates, figures out who his real dad is, was actually a teenager. Again,
I just remembered where I left off.
Yep.
I just remembered where I left off. They've started shooting the movie.
Yes.
And the last thing I remember is that, so in the movie, they are, okay, if you're not caught up on the manga and you're still listening to this for some reason, the last arc, we have a feeling it's the last arc.
Probably.
It's setting up to be the last arc, is the secret come out. That Aqua and Ruby are Ai's kids, and so now they're filming a movie about Ai's life, and Ruby is starring as Ai. I think Aqua's also in it somewhere.
Oh yes, he is. He is starring. Aqua is starring as his father.
That's what it is. I forgot. Yeah. But so they don't identify the dad in the film. They just call him like father character or something. But I remember the cliffhanger that the last chapter I read left off on was seeing the actual dad being like, they're making a movie about you, you know? And he's like, yeah, it's me. I'm the bitch. And that was the last thing I saw.
So, yep. Anyways, yeah, the reason why I'm uncomfortable about...
Oh, no, wait, in the movie, do they...
I don't know yet, because they're in the middle of filming. They're in the middle of filming, and they're like, Aqua, are you sure you're ready to play this part? And he's like, yep, I really want the truth to come out. And they're like, even though that means you have to kiss your sister.
No!
And I'm like,
oh, God! Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So... that's the most recent chapter of the manga, folks.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep. Who knows?
Just take me out back behind the Denny's.
Yeah.
Get it over with quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
I think the best option for Oshinoko manga ending is if Aqua just dies again. I think I'm at that point. I'm ready for him to pull a Light Yagami. I'm ready
he
for
just dies and like a boom mic falls on his head and gives him like cracks his skull and he dies.
Yeah. He needs a Light Yagami ending. He, Lelouch, and Light Yagami can spend time up in heaven together.
Oh, that's bold of you to assume that Lelouch died at the end
fair.
of Code Geass.
Right, fair.
Sorry for the Code Geass spoilers, everybody. That show's like 15 years old at this point. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep. So, who knows? Who knows how I'll feel about Oshinoko?
Why?
Anyways, thanks for coming to our manga rant, everyone. Star and I are uncomfortable about a lot of it.
Yay, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I love anime.
But also, who knows, again, this might just be making us uncomfortable for whatever reason, and Aqua dies, and Akane and Kana are free.
Sarah.
From Aqua.
Oh, okay, it's because I know you.
Oh, just ship them?
I was fully expecting it to be like Aqua dies, and then the other two sides of the love triangle kiss.
Oh, they could. That's allowed.
That's very much the Sarah play.
That is the Sarah play. I just want all of the women to not have to deal with Aqua anymore. That's what I'm saying. Or maybe maybe Aqua will die and get reincarnated as something the fuck else, and then the manga will keep going.
Oh God, I just had a very, 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 very cursed mental image, Sarah.
Oh no.
You know what? How they make it worse?
Uh-huh.
You know how they make the anime bullshit worse?
Oh no, what?
Is that Aqua dies and gets reincarnated as Ruby's child.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Make it even worse. How deep does it go? That would be like an I'm my own uncle situation with Aqua. That would be fucking funny.
Yep.
It would be so fucked, but it would be funny.
There you go.
Oh my God. I'm dying inside country roads.
Anyways.
Take me out.
This has been iDOL Nights. This is iDOL Nights.
Behind the Denny's.
The show
Do
about
it fast.
iDOL manga.
Don't wanna be here. This fucking incest plot is killing me. Country roads.
And we'll see you next time with the Journal Boys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Peace. Anime.